Backlog. All right, guys, welcome to the Backlog podcast number 25 with our good
Hey.
friend Boobagel. How you guys doing?
Good.
I'm Gucci.
Is this officially the start of our new season, or?
I don't remember. I'd have to look that up. See, the thing is that we actually we started our seasons weird because I think at first we never actually numbered our podcasts or something like that. We never really like organized it correctly. And then we also had like a bunch of movie reviews that like didn't quite that like wound up being split up. So those wound up going into the seasons. So it's like, do you count the movie reviews as episodes or do you count those as like bonus episodes? See, I don't know.
Yeah. See, you're missing the real nugget of truth right there, and
Mhm.
that the truth is whatever we want. So we're just gonna call it the start of our new season, and that's what it's gonna be.
You see, it's every 15, I think 12 or 15 episodes. I think it's like considered a podcast season. So
Yeah, but rules are for nerds. And we're cooler than that.
and I'm the nerd. That's right.
We're the uber nerd,
Uh,
Make your own rules.
the higher tier. But no, like we've taken a couple weeks off, but now we're back. We have one of our personal friend of the show's Boobagel on.
Howdy.
And she's a big Marvel head, so we're gonna be talking all about the latest Marvel stuff, some movie reviews, which we haven't done a lot of TV show reviews. So we're doing a little bit of everything today. It's gonna be fun.
yeah. So I guess really quick, we can just kind of go over our weeks then, just like briefly, and then we can delve into the interview. So Boobagel, you are our guest. So if you didn't mind, you want to tell us about your week. It can be anything like it doesn't matter. Anything weird, interesting, like it could be mundane. It doesn't matter.
Fun, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, like my normal work week is pretty boring, but for like this past weekend, I streamed that new game Stray for a little bit. I
Oh,
got like
nice.
5 hours into it. It's super cute. And before that, I actually tried doing a pool stream with Mike. We played like some music and hung around in the pool. So it was pretty cool. And other than that, just working hard, boring stuff.
Yeah,
Streaming every day though, right?
Said dreaming every day.
Nope. I said
yeah.
still streaming every day though.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, I tried
Streaming.
to.
Oh, you stream
Yep.
every day?
Yeah, I stream unless something happens, generally the plan and idea is to stream every day. I stream at least an hour to an hour and a half before work every day. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I try to stream a total of 24 hours for the weekend. So I normally do like a 12-hour stream and then 2 5 to 6 hour streams. So the goal is 24 hours for the weekend and then like, whatever during the week.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. I've thought about doing that. It's always a little it's always like, well, how am I gonna find time?
Mhm.
Because
Yep.
I also I create content on the side. So when I'm not streaming, I kind of tend to be doing that. Or sleeping. So
Yeah.
or
See,
working.
that's the struggle, dude, is like there's so many ideas that I have. August knows I talk about them all the time.
Mhm.
Like I want to create more, but I don't have the time because I want to spend that time streaming.
Mhm.
So it's hard to find balance. Like if I didn't have a job, I'd be fine. I could do everything I want. But you got to make money.
The real problem is we'll kind of get it more into it during the interview, but there kind of comes like a decision where it's like, do you diversify your portfolio or do you just go full force into streaming?
Yeah.
Streaming is like a very slow process, but hey, it does work for some people. It's just all you do is stream.
Yeah.
So,
if you want to like edit or anything else like that, that takes a lot of time.
Oh, it takes a lot of time. The most I can do is my like 30 to 1 minute, like 30 seconds to 1 minute TikTok videos. That's the most I have time for.
yeah,
Other than that, like I can't make anything for YouTube on my own. It's just a lot of work.
yeah.
Bagel, actually used to. Oops, sorry about that. She used to be a graphic designer, so like,
Oh, okay.
she knows the struggle.
This is a
Yeah,
struggle.
like my emotes and all my overlays and everything I designed myself. So woo.
Oh, that's
Took out a
awesome.
painting one for that.
Yo, August, how was your week, man?
Pretty good, pretty chill. This is my military like annual training weeks, so basically kind of out doing stuff with them. The cool way about how my unit's doing it this week though is we're working out of like just one of our local maintenance shops.
Mhm.
So essentially, like I either get to like rather than it being like a 7 to 7, which is what a normal 8 is, or later, it's usually like a 7 to 9. It's usually a hell long days. It's basically like a 7 to 5. Like it's like normal reasonable hours. I get out on weekends. It's awesome. We've been doing a lot of cool stuff. I get to like it's funny because like I grew up never having to actually do any like tool related things.
Mhm.
So like all of a sudden we're doing like vehicle maintenance, car maintenance, a bunch of like install and repair stuff, and it's like cool. I've only broken 3 drill bits. Awesome. I'm doing good. Uh,
Nice. Wow.
but yeah, it's
Oh
it's
boy.
cool. It's definitely a learning experience, and as someone who's always been interested in like engineering and technical stuff, it's cool to actually see what like the practical applied side of that is. So honestly, I'm enjoying it. I can't complain. It's better than being like in the field for like 3 days or longer with no shower. So it's all good.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no! Did I? So I went down to like 1 bar. So did you hear any of that?
Oh
Heard it.
yeah, we heard
It
it.
was just lagged to the video, at least from my side.
The video just
Oh, okay.
lagged. That's all.
Okay, so yeah.
Good now though.
Okay.
So does
But
that
yeah,
mean
I mean, my week's been chill.
that's awesome, man? But yeah. So this week, since you asked, August, thank you.
I was going to.
You go ahead.
I was
Go
getting
ahead.
ready to as well.
Do
I was
it.
getting ready.
Okay. Well, anyway,
Okay.
my week was.
How was your week?
You're
How was your week,
supposed.
backlog?
Ah, man, I gotta keep reminding you. Anyway, so my week was pretty simple. Did a lot. I was, of course, at work, and like you said, really boring. Didn't really, want to be there. All the classics. I spend a lot of time, like, writing things down and making stuff while I'm at work or on my phone, which, I'm sure my boss isn't a big fan of, but, uh, I started playing Multiverses, which was, it's okay. I don't know if I like that game. I've tried it once. It's not very I don't know if I like it. It's like an inferior Smash game.
But isn't it like a team-based Smash game too? So would like playing it with like a dedicated partner make it better? I assume.
Yes, it does. It has depth. It does. But yeah, I just playing it, just randoms on stream or whatever. It just after a while I was like, man, I'm bored. I tried a bunch of different characters and I just didn't, I wasn't feeling anybody. And it's
Sorry, I was gonna say that's how I felt playing that Nickelodeon, like what is it, All Stars or whatever that just came out like a
yeah.
couple months ago. I just
All
it
Star
just
Brawl.
doesn't
Yeah.
it just doesn't like translate. It just didn't feel like I don't know. I guess I was as well comparing it too much to Smash, so I didn't like it at all. But I wanted to try Multiverses for the same reason because it's, kind of like Smash and it's a lot of cool characters, but I don't know. It sounds like it's probably not that great.
I mean, I would say you can still try it for free. So, I mean, it's kind of why not? If you do the drops, where it's like you watch about an hour of the game, um, and then, you have to sign up through the WB games or something like that. Um,
Isn't it like officially out next week or something? It's really soon.
I don't
So.
remember, but the game you can fully buy it too. It's like $40. Which, if you do it that way, it unlocks everything, and you don't have to like grind out certain characters. Um, but yeah, I don't think it's for me. But I mean, I have to give it another try, and also I have to go into training mode, and I gotta look up tutorials on characters, because otherwise I don't get interested in, what's going on. Because I have to understand a character before I can be like, okay, this is pretty cool. That's just me. I like fighting games, so when I'm just kind of mashing buttons and I'm like blindly doing shit, after a while I automatically hit a skill wall where I have to start doing research, or I'm gonna be like, all right, fuck this game. I'm not playing it anymore. Um, yeah.
You're saying you're not going to be a day one LeBron main. You're going to actually,
I
you
mean,
have to play around with LeBron.
I think, honestly, if one thing was gonna bring me back to multiverses, it might be LeBron. You know what? In fact, if they brought back Algae Rhythm
Yeah,
as the counterpoint to LeBron, then I'm in. I'm there.
I stand Don Cheadle any day.
I stand on
Christ.
Cheadle and Algae Rhythm for nothing more than his stupid name. That's it. That's the only reason I'll ever play him. Or like I guess like LeBron actually dunks on people with his basketball.
Yeah, this is super. I think. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Which I'm gonna have to play that game more. I don't know if I'm ever gonna find a dedicated partner, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I think, was there anything else? Oh yeah, I watched Miss Marvel. I specifically for this podcast, I watched the entirety of Miss Marvel in
Yeah,
in 2 days. In 2 days. So, I just when I was on my break, I'm like watching it and whatever. But I was like, oh, also I played a game called Power Quest, which is a Game Boy Advance. No, I'm sorry, Game Boy Color fighting game that is like a catch 'em all type Pokemon game. That essentially you go around like Metabot style fighting other kids, but the character types are you have the Ryu, you have like a grappler, all that stuff, and then you can unlock abilities from them as you grind out money. So I don't know, it's actually pretty dope, but I've been playing that in my spare time. Anywho, with that, let's move on to the interview questions. So August, I know we had talked before. I don't know if you said you wanted to go
I got it
first.
pulled up. Yeah. So yeah, basically, essentially, every time we bring a guest on, we kind of ask them a basic list of questions for kind of whatever their background is. For you, it's pretty similar. You're a big streamer, so we
Yeah,
kind of want
so
to
big.
know, just hey,
I
it's all
did
about
just hit
that.
500.
Own it.
It's all about that Sigma grind set,
Yeah,
You'll get there. You gotta just get
fake it.
maintain the grind set. But yeah, how did you get into streaming? What made you interested in it? What made you get into it? And what made you finally decide to pull the trigger?
Let's see. So I guess what it really was like I never really watched streamers before. Like I knew of Twitch and of streamers. I never would sit there and watch them. But one day, when we got our PS5s, Mike, he got the bundle that came with the camera, and he was just messing around one day, and he's like, "I'm just gonna try streaming." I was like, "Cool." So he would stream every other day, but he wouldn't interact or anything. And I was just like, "You gotta interact." And then I realized I want to interact. I want to do it. So I don't know. I was kind of nervous about it. So one day when he was at work, I was like, "Screw it." And I stole his camera. I put it on the computer or on my monitor or whatever, and I streamed from my console. I don't even think I got more than 2 viewers, but I was like, "This is fun." And I don't know. I just kept doing it and till I got to where I am, and I really enjoy it. So, yeah, that's basically it. That's
Yeah.
how I got into it.
Well,
Does that kind
that's
of mirror your experience, Matt?
I don't know. I don't know if I got. It's so hard to remember because it was a while ago. Um, I think I just started playing games and talking to people, and then at first I was really bad at it, and I've gotten better. But you know, Yeah, kind of. Pretty much just, just started streaming, playing games, and eventually, just met people and just started slowly growing. That was
So it was like
initially.
the it was the community aspect that kind of like made you most interested in it. From the sound of like both of your stories.
Um, no, well, for community, I don't know about community. I think it's more like I just wanted to play games and just talk to people. But maybe that could be community. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I've always played games like ever since I was young, like as long as I can remember, but I always had somebody to play with. So when Mike wasn't around or if I didn't have anyone around, I would just not play games. But I wanted to, but didn't want to play them alone. And I think a part of that was also streaming. You have a bunch of people to talk to, even if it's just like one person or, two or whatever. And it feels like you're hanging out with people, even though you're all alone in your room. It makes it a lot easier to get into things that you want to play. You just don't want to do it alone. That's
Now,
how I felt doing it.
no, who is Mike, by the way? No, like
Oh,
nobody no,
sorry.
nobody really knows that.
Mike is my boyfriend. Sorry, August knows that, so I just like automatically
cool
thought,
guy. Cool guy.
yeah,
Yeah, because I'm thinking like it could be your
Marblehead.
brother. I don't know.
yeah,
The, I mean, do you feel like you would label yourself as a streamer? Is that like what you think best describes you?
yeah. I do. Normally would say small streamer. I just kind of like to put the small there, but maybe I should take it out. I don't know.
I mean, streamer's a streamer. There are some people that I don't know. I think like there's a I don't know if you've ever looked at your stats before, but there's a way to look at like where you are in the percentage of streamers. And
Uh,
I think honestly, if you have like five viewers or something like that, you're like quite above quite a few people. But then again, there's a lot of people that just start streaming and they stop or whatever it may
yeah.
be. Um, Yo,
Yeah,
August,
so like
yeah,
consistency is key. Is
yeah,
is
Hmm.
kind of what you're saying for like growth.
yeah. Oh, were you
Oh,
asking
sorry.
me?
Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I was asking you. Yeah.
yeah,
Like, what do you?
absolutely. I'd say like consistency and then picking times. Like for me, ever since I moved to, like, I changed times. So I started streaming like I was streaming from like 1 to 5 or something like that, or 2 to 5, and then I moved to 6 p.m. And then ever since then, it changes, and now you have to find a new group of people because all of my people are people that's are up really late at night, or actually most of them are West Coast people. Is really kind of how it works out. So yeah, I would say like streaming the same times, being consistent. I would say at least 3 times a week, and honestly, if you can help it, like 2 hours is like usually a starting point, in my opinion, because it's like anything at like you might stream like 2 hours and you're like, well, why aren't I getting anybody? It's just because the discoverability of Twitch is so bad that you
Very bad.
you have to like really you're gonna have to like time is your best friend. You have
Yeah,
to grind that shit.
I can attest to that because when I do my 12-hour streams, I don't usually start hitting my peak amount of viewers until like hour 6
Yeah.
at the like least. Like hour 1 through 5, I'm just floating around like 2 to 3, 4 people, and then after that, 7 to 10 if I'm lucky.
Yeah, and like at least if not only that, but like the games that you're picking matter, the times you're streaming matter because you have like more competition and bigger streamers are on. There's a lot that kind of goes into it that you have to like think about. I mean, you could be like me, and you could just play Dragon Ball Z sagas and be like, "Fuck it, I don't care," and let's see who shows up for this. And hey,
Yeah. See, I
uh,
agree with that.
I
It's like
hear.
I don't know, you should be able to play what you want, but also know how to, I don't know, strategize it.
like if honestly, if I wanted to make like a growth strategy, I would probably just play DNF Duel or Tekken right now. That's probably what I would do
for fighting game?
every day, like every day, and I would probably start to lose my mind. Uh, but yeah,
Honestly, Matt, I respect your retroness so much. Like, I'm still waiting on that like OG Atari Pong stream.
oh God, no.
But no, no. I mean, like it definitely takes a certain mindset to be like, I'm gonna break the mold. I'm gonna stream what I want. And even if you are streaming something popular, I mean, I think it's bravery all around. If you're gonna stream a popular game, you have to be confident enough that like it's not just gonna be the game your viewers are gonna come for. They're gonna come for your personality over the game. So it's just impressive. Like honestly, like I would love to stream a little bit. I don't think I would ever like fully embrace it, but like
Mhm.
I always respect people that are willing to just go in there, put their personality out there every day, and kind of grind that experience ladder because that takes a skill. It takes dedication. It takes a certain mindset.
August, did you have any other questions for Boo Bagel
Oh
before
yeah,
I?
yeah. We're gonna circle back to him. I was just kind of from talking to about two people that stream way more often than I do, who doesn't stream at all. It
Yeah.
was kind of interesting to see what your perspectives were on it. But yeah, so like in terms of kind of streaming and kind of seeing what works and what doesn't, like what are some of the streamers that you look up to, or is there anyone in the content creation game that you want to emulate? Like I know you
S-
said you defined yourself as a streamer, but I know you do other stuff too. You make TikToks, you make other stuff. So
so like I said before, I never really like watched streamers and I didn't know too much about them, but since beginning to stream, I've met a lot of different people like around the same like follower count. And I've also met a specific streamer that he's a smaller streamer, but I think he has like 2,000 followers on Twitch, which is a lot, but small if you think about it in the grand scale of things. But his name is Bowls, Bowls, and he's awesome. He makes extremely hilarious content, and I mean it when I say that watching one of his streams feels like you're watching a pre-edited YouTube video. Like he does all this wacky crap like during the stream that
Mhm.
you would think it's like edited and pre-recorded. He's super super funny and he's very supportive of everyone who doesn't have like, the same amount of followers as him. So, it's pretty cool. I like him a lot.
Um, yeah, no, I've never actually heard of him, but I'll have to check him out. I usually do check out quite a few people, like if I can, because it's like you never know. You kind of need a community of people to grow, and it's very difficult to do it on your own unless you're really just grinding out like ideas every day and sort of that kind of mentality.
But
So
I had one more follow
yeah,
up
go
kind
ahead.
of for you, Matt. So like, are there any streamers that you try to emulate, or any like TikTokers? Like, I know there's a bunch of different people that we've networked with, that we've done interviews with, but like,
I
is there anyone's
don't.
content you want to make content like?
No, no, that's the problem. Is I only want to make content like I want to make content, and I think in terms of streaming, that I mean, in terms of like making content outside of streaming, that I want to make it how I want to make it, and just take ideas from whatever I see. But there's no one who I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do that. Um,
Mhm.
but in terms of streaming, I need to figure out what I want to do in terms of entertaining people because not everybody just wants to watch some guy with a beard play video games because it just doesn't it doesn't really make you stand out at all. You have to kind
Mhm.
of do something more than that, unfortunately. But no, yeah, no, I don't have anybody yet. I mean, I enjoy watching like streamers like Max and stuff, and I think I would love to do like retro streams like how he does with like people. I've always thought about doing that, like having friends over, like how he has, and he's I've watched him for like over 10 years now, so since like 2011, I think. So, um,
Yeah. So I Boobagel, we're talking about the fighting game content streamer Maximilian Dude, who's I
yeah,
would say arguably the biggest person in the FGC content creation space.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, he makes awesome content. He it definitely, and it's like varied. Like he's shot in like mini movies. He's done
Oh, that's
fighting game
cool.
streams. He's done retro streams. So I mean, I really like that kind of within the new kind of social media Twitch age, it really is the age of like user created creativity. But at the same time, it's like, well, what do I make? Are people gonna watch it? There's always that constant interplay between the creator, and whether or not he thinks there's an audience there for his content, or their content.
You afternoon
Yeah.
tune. Thanks for the bits, man. Yeah, guys.
Yeah. You want to do the next question, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, go check out Afternoon Tune if you haven't. He actually has a really cool podcast that I listen to. Real supportive guy. So let me see. Yes, I do have questions. What do you think? Okay, so one other question. Do you actually? I'm going to choose a different question. Do you prep before any streams?
Yeah. I think it's not a whole lot. I mean,
Mhm.
for me, it's just turn it on my laptop. I like to. My Elgato will disconnect a lot, so I'll turn on my laptop and I'll make sure the Elgato's working or whatever, and then just for me, I guess I just brush my hair. Sometimes I put on lipstick or whatever, and then I just sit down. Make sure I have a bottle of water because you talk a lot and your mouth gets really dry.
Mhm.
And then yeah, just the basic stuff. Make sure the title and everything's good, and then I hit the starting soon. Let that go on for a little bit, just so I can mentally prepare myself. Because sometimes you're not always in the mood, even though you need to stream. Not need to, but for me, I feel like I need to try to do it every day.
Mhm.
And even if I'm not in like an energetic mood, like I most of the time
Quintessence
am,
HD just
I
resubbed for
have to get
16
myself in
months.
that mood for the stream.
Bibbidi boppity
Because you have to be
boobagel.
talkative.
Hold on one second.
Just
Oh, whoa, 1 second. Sorry, the alert box is going off. All right, I muted it. Go ahead. I didn't want to. I don't want like the audio to run over what you were saying.
yeah, no, that's okay. But yeah, just basically, sometimes you just gotta get yourself in a better mood than you're in to be entertaining. Because
Yeah.
it is, overall for me, this is a career. Like I want it to be a career, so I'm gonna have to, sometimes you gotta put on a face for work. So that's kind of how it is.
You got to do the whole what's it, like the Katy Perry documentary. Like, I forgot the weirdest references, but like, long story short, there's like a
Yeah.
famous kind of story in content creation about how like Katy Perry just got the news that like, was it
Yeah.
Russell Brand wanted to break up with her, and then
hmm
she immediately had to like
Go
do
on
a show.
stage.
Yeah, go on
Yeah,
stage.
after he divorced her over phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So sometimes you gotta boss bitch it up and just put on the face and who the heck?
Um.
Yeah.
So, with that, like what I was thinking was more or less like, do you prep content beforehand? Because
Um.
one thing that I've kind of been noticing lately is a lot of people that are streamers, what they do to kind of figure out what they do is they game plan what they're going to do during their stream, which is really difficult to do. It's like it's hard to imagine doing that for 3 hours, right? That's kind of like really what I meant is because I need to, but I don't do that. I wasn't
So
sure if
like
that's something you do.
you mean like just like while you're streaming things that you're gonna do during the stream, like have it all planned out or
Yeah, like that's what I meant by prep, but also that this what you said counts too. That works completely
yeah.
fine. I was kind of wondering. I was also wondering, do you prep content beforehand?
Uh no. I like you said, I probably should.
It's okay.
The guy I mentioned, Bowles, he has all kinds of like pre-made prepped content that he rolls into his stream
Yep.
while like every time somebody subscribes, there's a video of him doing something else pops up. Like that stuff's really fun and I kind of want to try to do stuff like that too, but like you said, it's also I don't know. You kind of want to be yourself while not also seeming like you're taking from other people. But there's also nothing wrong with taking inspiration. So I kind of want to
Yeah.
try doing that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
Probably
that.
should.
Like literally, look at all the bigger streamers. They all copy each other, and that's
It's reacts. The react meta will never die.
that. I mean, I can't believe that it works as well as it does. I even like we weekly watch Common Writer every Monday. I don't know if you know what Common Writer is. Uh, but there's Common Writer show, and
Like
we
Power Rangers, but like for us, like was it 16 through 13. She's
What?
slightly older Power Rangers.
No,
Like, what is primary
it's for like it's like for kids to adults.
Oh, okay.
But basically, it's it's like
Power
Sentai. It's like is what it's called. It has like adult themes. People die, stuff like that. It's like a drama. So basically, we every Monday we watch that. So I'm thinking like, why don't I just stream us watching that? Like what But how would I do that? Do I even keep the VODs? Would people show up for it? I don't know. It would have to be you can't keep the VODs, right? They would have
Yeah.
to disappear after they're done. Which, by the way, I found out you can do that, where you can actually choose a category. Like, if I choose this category, do not keep the VOD. And that's how like people, like streamers, they get clips of their stream, but it's never of them watching. I don't know, like Chef. What is it? Like
Gordon Ramsay.
yeah, Gordon Ramsay, whatever it may be.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. Um, so I guess with that, what do you think is holding you back from that next level of streaming that I know you mentioned a few things, but like what do you think about this a lot? Do you like, what do you think's holding you back?
I do think about it a lot. I talk about it a lot. I always get a lot of ideas, but I guess what's holding me back is like it's hard to say the lack is motivation because like I am motivated, like I want to do this, but like physically doing it is hard sometimes. I don't know. I think time is everybody's biggest enemy, like and money. Cuz like the things I want to do, like I kind of want to like make I don't know. I've done it. I've streamed it before. I'd like to dress up as characters that I've written out or whatever. And but it costs money to get an outfit together and it's motivation and then it's anxiety to do it cuz like you said before like what if people don't want to watch that? What if people don't join in? Like it's just a motivation thing. I mean, I've always had that kind of issue growing up like and that's why streaming is so amazing for me because it's the one thing I've actually stuck with and not just like dropped off because I got anxious.
Yeah. Um, well, you know what I can say, and my whole point of view is I think whether you have what you need or not, I think you should do it. You should just figure out how to do it. If it's super cheap, if you're just wearing a different shirt, it doesn't matter. People, like you probably watch TikTok because you're on there, right? Some
Mhm.
people just like they wear two different shirts and then they use two different camera angles to talk to each other, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There's no reason why. I mean, maybe you could figure that out, but and you know what, you might be bad at that at first, but I think that making that attempt is the first step to improving whatever it is that you want to do. Because obviously, what is it? Bulls is his name?
Yeah, bowls. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm sure he had to go through the process of like, oh man, this really wasn't quite right. Let me watch what I did and then,
Yeah.
figure out. I, I mean, I really feel that, you know, for me, whether it's good or I've made like tons of bad stuff, and that's okay because I've also made good stuff too. And so it's like, I sometimes like I made a video that I spent a lot of time on that was a review today, and it has like under 3,000 views. And I'm upset because I think it's a good video, but it's not getting the attention it deserves. So, there's got to be a reason to that. So, whatever it is, I have to figure it out.
Yeah, that was the biggest piece of advice I got from Bulls, like personally, like one on one. He said, if you ever doubt your content, just go back and skip throughout your previous VOD and watch like 30 seconds every time you skip. And if it's entertaining, then you're doing good. And if it's not, then like his whole thing is make every single bit of that stream entertaining, like every minute of it, which is
So,
a lot of work.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, like, so I mean, I think that is is great and all, but like
mhm.
also that does not explain how to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's the one big problem I have with people giving advice for streaming is like, well, you have to be entertaining. Your content's just bad. It's like, well, what do I do
Yeah.
to improve it? I don't know. You know,
Just do it.
it's like it's like um it's like someone coming up to you and saying, "You suck at basketball." It's like, "Oh, all right. Well, I don't know how to do anything, so
But that's also like just like any kind of open-ended advice. That's kind of the inherent difficulty is that like I don't know, like you have to use your own
Yeah,
creative
yeah, yeah.
tools because like you're coming from a different experience and creative energy than someone else's. So
yeah,
it's the always creative paradox where it's like make something better, but how? I don't
just
know.
do it."
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Do
Just
it.
do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you want to be good at streaming? Well, get better at it. You want to be good at podcasting? Well, you got to make content that people are interested in. And it's like, well, what does that mean? And then, you kind of just have to like look at other people. And you know what? Honestly, I think copying people is like the biggest thing about it, which is so strange. And I think it's like it's more important than I give it credit for is but putting your own twist on things, which is really just ripping people off. Is really what it comes down to.
Mhm.
Let's face it. People say oh well, you're just putting your twist on it because obviously if I was like if I stole all of Bull's stuff and I was like, well, this is mine, and but I did everything the same, he might be kind of mad. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
I agree.
I
uh,
mean that's all content creation, right? Like
Yeah, it's like everywhere.
nothing new under the sun. Like a lot of the greatest versions of things have been inspired by other things. It's just, how is that? I mean, that's kind of the great part about existing in the way we exist is that like a piece of content is evaluated as a whole. So if you execute certain things better than someone else, even though your stuff is similar, a lot of people are going to grade you on that. So I
I
mean, it just makes it cool.
I will say
And
for
oh, I was just gonna say ADD brain. By the way, like I
sure.
think we need a clip right at the start of our podcast where like we say now that's podcasting. It's like
What?
the idea you just gave me.
No,
You're just talking about like podcast, and it's like this is
I
pod racing. Now that's podcast. I'm
I
just
would
saying
have to we'll work it out. We'll work it out.
this is podcast.
Uh
It could be a thing.
we just need a child to say it.
We need to
I
go
could
back
do a
in
mean
time
child
and
voice.
hire Jake Lloyd.
We'll go hire
Or
Jacob
Paul.
Lloyd. He ain't doing nothing besides being
Star Wars
crazy.
fans ruined his life. But
That's right.
yeah.
There was what was it? Also, I will say that I don't like the way high level streamers do things. I don't like the way they make content. I don't. I think it's kind of shit. I think it's crazy what people consider good content and what's entertaining, because like Mizkif and stuff like that. I think I get it, but literally all like a lot of streamers do is they just piggyback off of other people's content, and it's insane that that's acceptable. And it's like people make fun of TikTokers for making low level content, and they do. Oh boy, they do. In terms of streaming, but all of the most popular streamers do the same fucking thing. Or not the same fucking thing, but you know what I mean. They make easy, they can fill up hours. I don't know, be controversial. I bet a lot of the stuff that they actually make is just trash, and you're only seeing the best part of it, because they have like a management team. But
Honestly, I think that to me, that's the problem with the format though, is you have so much content to fill that like unless you have like a team, like we're talking like Saturday Night Live, Ellen show, Stephen Colbert's level, you're not like no reasonable person is ever gonna be able to fill that time. So it creates that game of like, well, why don't I just do reacts? And it's like I think a
yeah,
lot of those people are talented enough to produce better content, but they've realized that the reward is
they're,
not
they're,
there for
they're,
them.
the time's
Still
never
gonna get
gonna
views.
they're never gonna have the time to do that. They're never gonna make money if they do it that way. Which they probably have. They gotta pay for their mansions somehow.
Well, I think all of them would be better if they were allowed to cut back on content. like take a couple more days off, kind of like work the process more.
Mhm.
But the problem with that is like how high level streaming works is like you get paid for the amount of days you work. So it's like why not just work more days and have the content be worked?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of those people are working like 12-hour streams too.
Yeah, their contracts like mandate that they have to do so many hours a week. So it's like they're not going to burn themselves out making crazy high level content because it's just not it's not worth it. And that's kind of the frustrating thing about watching content creation from like a lower level is that like you realize a lot of these people could make better stuff, but they don't have to.
Right.
You
I
know,
mean, they've been doing it
that's
long enough, yeah.
you know,
I was watching like a video game donkey video that like one of his most recent ones on E3. I don't know if anybody knows video game donkey, but donkey or whatever. But he was essentially like Mizkif was like, "Oh yeah, I play platforms all the time," and like Donkey's like, "You don't play fucking video games on your stream," and it was kind of hilarious because he just calling him out for lying. But yeah, it's like kind of crazy, like because these people they don't play video games, and yet they're getting publicity from because they're on Twitch. They're just like, well, they must play video, so they're at E3 and stuff, which doesn't really connect. Uh, but yeah, man. Anyway, maybe we should start.
yeah, no, we should. We
We should
absolutely
definitely start
start
delving into
there.
some Marvel content.
But like, Bagel, as someone who's like a small level streamer, like, I don't want to. You don't have to like throw out any shade or anything, but like, what's your opinion on
Who do
like
you hate?
what high level? Yeah, well, what's your opinion on like
Who
high
gives?
level content creation, or like what do you think?
Uh,
The problems are with it, or do you have any problems with it, or?
I don't know. I guess the only example I can like think of, I don't know. I've only heard, so I can't really like say it for sure, but like I've heard XQC is kind of an asshole, and like he's like one of the biggest Twitch streamers, right? Like, isn't he super popular, but for being an asshole?
The juicer army is now coming for you, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, so he kind of he I don't watch X so much just cuz I can't literally tolerate watching his streams for more than like 5 minutes without going insane.
Hmm.
I watch like Hassan at times, like which knows X and they've associated and fought over different things, so um yeah, it's kind of like one of those things where like I don't necessarily mind his personality. He is apparently really good at gameplay, which I think is why he got his start. He's an ex Overwatch pro. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's weird to me. He fits the stereotype for like kind of that entitled gamer child mindset, and I'm like,
Hmm.
that's not me. The older I get, that's even less me. So I don't know. Like, like he's not personally my kind of favorite brand of content, but like he's got fans. He's one of the most popular streamers on Twitch. So I mean, there's
Yeah.
an audience for it. I mean, I would assume his audience skews younger, which I'd love to see the demographics on that because, like, I think kids want to see themselves in a lot of the people they watch,
Yeah.
and I think that's very easy for his personality for a kid to see himself in that. But is it great content for me? No, I find it annoying. But yeah.
I think it's also, has anybody experienced this? I mean, I want to ask Boobagel because I have a bunch of times, but literally every once in a not in a blue moon, but like probably once a month or maybe more than that. I have a kid come into my stream or if I'm on TikTok and ask me if I play Fortnite. And I can't tell if it's a meme. I can't tell if it's a meme or if like if they're serious or if it's just somebody trying to troll me, but it's like literally always have somebody asking me if I play Fortnite, and I don't. I've never played that game in my life.
Okay, so that's tough for me because I literally during the week I do playing with viewers Fortnite streams.
Oh
So like
yeah.
that's what I do is I play with a bunch of people and most of the time they're kids or whatever.
Hmm.
So I often get people asking if I will play Fortnite with them. And same even on Rust, like when I stream Rust, I'm assuming they're kids, you can tell when they're kids because the way they type or whatever. Like, can I join you? And I'm like, no, no, you can't. Not Rust. Fortnite, yes. Rust, no.
Right. Okay. Well, what? Wait. What? I don't. I've never played Rust. Why? What's the?
Um, So Rust is like server based. So you hop on a server and it wipes every week or it wipes every month. I go through weekly ones. You build a base. You pick a place on the map and you build a base, whatever. Your base is there all week, whether you're on the game or not. And people can raid you and you can raid people. So if I were to let kids play with me, they would know where everything is because they've seen me, on the stream go in and out of my base or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, playing with people is just not safe in that kind of game because people can screw you over and take all your crap, and they'll know everything about you and your teammates, everything like that. So
It's like, is it
that's
like Ark without dinosaurs?
it's like Ark without dinosaurs. Yeah,
Yeah. Or
Look,
like Minecraft with guns.
yeah.
Minecraft with guns. Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
Fortnite. Gotcha.
Fortnite. Yeah.
Fork knife. I'm
Fork.
old.
Yeah.
So, okay. So can I briefly poop on something and like I want to hear what you have to say? Like
Is it gonna be Fortnite?
this is the no. This is
Leave
the.
Fortnite alone.
I've never. I
Boomer
will.
takes. Boomer
Dude.
takes time.
Dude, they're gonna put Goku. They're gonna put Goku, Vegeta, and Beerus in Fortnite. It's been I don't know. Will I have to play Fortnite? Will anybody give a fuck? Who knows? Watch the next episode of the backlog.
It's free. You might as well.
What if I just become like the world's biggest like Fortnite streamer
Dude,
after
what
this?
if you're amazing at it and you don't even know?
I
could be the
highly
next
doubt
ninja.
that. I
Oh my God.
You can be telling people there's not enough movement. While
I
you
could
try to
be-
get them to-
Oh,
I
God.
could be
Most
the
embarrassing moment.
most angriest white boy that ever existed.
Hey, you're in great company, right?
No, whoa. I gotta ask this question though. Oh, hold on. Has anybody noticed a trend in like streaming content where essentially what streamers do, and this is how they make their clips, is all they do is yell really fucking loud, and it's not anything exciting. It's not anything like particularly special. It's just shouting, and then they clip that, and then that's what they upload, and people fucking love it. I mean, but they're not really they're not saying anything. They're not really doing anything different than the way you would do it, But shouting gets people's attention. It's kind of like a
Well-
monkey brain thing.
Yeah, like loud equals funny these days. I don't know why, but it does. Like, if I'm screaming and yelling, I'm automatically 10 times funnier.
Yeah.
Like, that, I don't know. But I have noticed that as well. In the past couple of years, I've noticed that loud equals funny. So,
There's like a thing where it's like there's this guy, and I'm not gonna say who it is, but he would shout statements, and then he would upload those statements to social media. And like he wasn't really saying anything. He really and even then you wouldn't understand the context of what he was saying. But that was like getting him traction. Just shouting
so funny.
shouting a statement. It's almost like, when you shout or you say something with authority, then it, that it must mean something, in like sort of if you're not paying attention. If you're just like listening to something
You're saying he's
phonetically.
the Travis Scott of streaming.
I don't even know what that means. I'm an old person. Isn't that a McDonald's meal?
It is.
Yeah, isn't that the McDonald's meal?
You get your Travi patties. There you
Double
go.
quarter pounder with fries and barbecue sauce on the side and a Sprite.
Wow, is that the meal?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that the actual- how-
you got
damn.
Sprite. It came with a Sprite. I remember. It came
Damn,
with a
she
Sprite.
she
Yeah.
had it down. Holy shit.
With the barbecue sauce and everything.
Facts.
So wait, but everybody knows what I'm talking about, right? You've seen this, right, Boobagel?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess with that we can probably move into the Marvel Phase 4, 5, Phase 4 and 5 like news here. I don't know if August
Six-ish.
Do news
6-ish.
or do a new review first and then end with the news?
Yeah, we can start with the reviews. It depends. What do you want to start with? Damn, there's so much.
Start with the reviews to bang them out, get them out of the way. But yeah, let's start with Miss Marvel, and then we can go to the Thor 4.
Hell yeah.
So you guys were troopers. You guys watched it. It's literally the least watched of all the Marvel shows. I think stats wise, that was one of the articles that came out while it was airing. I think the article specifically said it had like the worst 5-day viewership of all the Marvel shows. Yet it somehow ended up with the highest rating. So I'm like, okay, Disney, are you pulling the Snyder bot campaign and like having people upvote this just because
Did you hear that apparently that was fake? Like
what was fake?
the Snyder cut is fake.
No. So it wasn't the Snyder Cut's fake. It's that half or like a third of the like online support for the Snyder Cut was bots.
Oh
Like
yeah,
we
I
don't
saw
know
that.
who, but like someone was literally like
hmm
paying or created bots just to amplify
Getting
the pro Snyder Cut.
the
Which I'm like,
Snyder cut?
yeah, which I find ridiculous because like honestly the Snyder Cut wasn't that bad.
No, it's
But
okay.
like the stuff that came out later, which was kind of burying the lead, was that like before all of this stuff happened, like Snyder was like on record interview like they have documented conversations with Snyder telling people, "I'm gonna destroy you on social media," or like threatening people, and then the information comes out about the bots. So the whole situation becomes like really sus. Is like this guy is Snyder like using social media like weaponizing it against people because that's kind of effed up. But I mean, yo, DC is a blow up right now. Anyway, with like the Ezra Miller stuff and everything else, like they're in the merger, like they're in shambles. So the Amber Heard stuff, it's just like I don't know what like
The House
I
of
don't know
Cards
if
is
Marvel's
falling.
just like I don't know what like special sauce Marvel is drinking, but the fact that like they've managed to have more movies and less scandals just as someone is actually paying attention, someone is not asleep at the wheel on the Marvel side. Whereas DC, they're just driving off a cliff every conceivable time. But yeah, back to the topic at hand. Like, what were we saying? Like,
Miss
Miss
Marvel.
Marvel.
Hmm.
What did you guys think? Because a lot of people didn't like. A lot of people watched an episode, didn't watch an episode. Most people didn't make it through the series. I finished it because I had nothing better to do, and I wanted to watch it week to week. I liked it, but I definitely think it had problems. What did you guys think?
Boobagel, you want
Um,
to take? I gotta move my cat here. He's asking
I know,
for
right? Cat
attention.
problems. I had my boyfriend come in and grab our cat. But so I didn't. I watched I think like the first 3 episodes, and then I didn't get to finishing it. So what I did was I like read a bunch of stuff online, and then I like quickly watched the last episode. You
Cool.
know, it's kind of like faking
Yeah,
an essay on a book you didn't
Spark
read.
Notes. You did the Spark Notes for it.
But
Yeah.
like overall, having not seen kind of like the middle chunk, I enjoyed the ending. I thought it was really good. I definitely liked Kamala's character development, and you can definitely see how she progresses with her powers. She obviously knows how to use them a lot more by the end, and they look really cool on her. Honestly, I know that's a different power set. Like, I mean, it's technically the same. It just looks a lot different, and I like it. I think she looks cool.
Um, I I don't know. I liked it overall. I thought it was good. Um, damn it, I messed up my notes here. Hold on.
I have notes
Bad.
too. I have them taped to my table.
Okay, so
It's like I got things to say. Damn it! I just got to put them in the right order.
oh yeah, I thought it was actually pretty good. I mean I didn't. I'm glad they fixed the costume by the end of the show.
Costume at
Yeah.
the end was banging.
Looks great.
It was good.
Yeah, it was really frustrating because they threw up the concept art after it came out, and I'm like, the concepts were better than the one we ended up with. But the one we ended up with is still really cool.
Right. I thought I thought it was pretty good. I didn't like it at first because I hated that first episode, and I was worried it was gonna have that like Grey's Anatomy Riverdale problem where the dialogue is insufferable. At least for me.
You're afraid it was gonna be 2CW?
Yes, I was afraid it was gonna be too CW. Where after that first episode things like started to actually pick up, and I was like, okay, I all of these cliche characters are here, gotcha, roger that. And by the end of it, I was enjoying, though it does like, I feel like it has a lot of like MacGuffins that it kind of it just it just happens, this just happens to happen, and it kind of like works in her favor. Like the idea of, I don't know, her going to just happened to go to Pakistan because she had one phone call with her grandmother. I was like, I don't buy it. But I mean, it seems like a lot of the Marvel shows in Phase 4 have like a are all about world building. They're all about like, oh, there's this person from this culture, and then essentially you're going to go to another country, another world, and then to kind of learn who they are as a person. I mean, I think Shang-Chi did it. What is it? You could say Moon Knight did it. Miss Marvel, of course. There have been others, but either way, that's like been a huge kind of like, I want to say it's like almost like a cliche in terms of like
There's definitely been a lot of around the world travel in Phase 4. Like you're trying to see like different superhero related shit going on at different locations, which I think is cool. Honestly, I think the biggest problem with a lot of these shows is that only 6 episodes. Like
you can't.
it's
Yeah.
not
They try to cram a lot into,
it's too
I mean, they're
much.
all like what, 45 to an hour long
Yeah.
sometimes, but still they cram a lot into just a few episodes.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
This was honestly like, if I were gonna try to go into my biggest problem with this show, is that it should have at least been 2 more episodes. Like they tried to cram too much. Like I think, like spoiler alert to anyone who hasn't watched it. Like in I think the middle episode between like 3 and 4, there are people that come along and save her, and then they're trying to kill her in the exact
Mhm.
next episode. Like it makes
Yeah,
no
it's
sense.
just like instant.
It's like,
yeah.
what? Like these
Yeah.
people were like, she was hanging out at their house, like eating food and ice cream one episode,
And they
the
gave
next
them each personalities and everything, and then
yeah,
they're gone.
and then the next
Their
episode
personalities are
they're all
gone.
trying to murder her, and it's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, it's a
Like,
little
why?
strange. Like it's a little strange, and not only that, but like the fact that like man, it just didn't make any sense. That and then they never really explained why the mom, like how the power transfer worked.
Which
Yeah.
which mom?
to Cameron.
Mom?
No, Cameron's
Uh,
mom.
Oh, yeah, they did it. They just were
It
like,
just
well,
is give her powers. Let's do it.
Yeah,
mom is
Cameron
her
all of
mom
a
is
sudden has
dead.
powers.
Yeah, so yeah, no, that and it made even less sense because at the end they explained how she got her powers, and I'm like, okay, so why did Cameron only get his powers after his mom died? I don't.
Yeah,
That
it-
makes
I
even
guess-
less sense now.
I don't know. I might just be stupid, but I don't understand what the whole thing with Kamala having a mutation means. Like, so
we'll
she got her
definitely
powers from this, but like, I don't know.
like the Jin
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I don't know.
It's even more complicated than that because okay, background is in the Marvel Comics 616 universe. Miss Marvel is an Inhuman. Originally, apparently, the creator wanted her to be mutant, but this was at the time where there was kind of like a back and forth rights issue with Marvel not owning the rights to mutants. They
Yeah.
were still owned by Fox. So on the comic level, there was like a mandate where like you can't create any more mutant characters, which is dumb because mutant characters are the coolest. Everyone,
Yeah, everybody
in the
loves
Marvel comics
mutants.
kind of agrees with that. So they made her an Inhuman instead. The problem with Inhumans as a concept, though, is that essentially they're just mutants with extra steps. Like literally, it's just like they have the genes that can give them superpowers, but you activate them a different way.
Like
Okay.
it's like I think I read it. It was like let's see if I have the notes in here. It is basically instead of being born with superpowers, they are humans who gain special powers when exposed to Terrigen mist.
Yeah,
Is really what it
that
says.
is-
So
that is
so
exactly
they
what it is.
basically breathe in a mist and like I have superpowers now, and then that's
But you have to have the gene already, so they're mutants with extra steps.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense.
So
The-
yeah, what were you saying?
So, well, I mean, I guess that kind of makes even less sense because if you think about it, mutants are born with powers, is really what, and then she just sort of like activates the powers through an item, which kind of makes her an Inhuman, more or less. Which is kind of like
yeah.
what they switched it out with.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, the more you think about, like, that's at the comics level. On the show level, this makes
Yes.
even less sense
Yeah.
because essentially what they reveal over the course of the show is that she's like, I think 1/16th alien. I can't remember what the grandmother genetics is, but basically, like,
I think the grandmother
her,
was alien.
yeah, her grandmother is an alien. Like, not space alien. She comes from an alternate dimension, so alternate dimension alien. For whatever that's worth. But I mean, essentially, like, she's part of a different species.
Hmm.
But I guess how they explain why her mom and her brother don't have powers, is that she has a mutation. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so she's part alien, part mutant, which, I mean, I guess there's kind of a precedent for. I mean, we were talking about this earlier. Like, Matt, you wanted to mention, like, Namor. Like,
Yeah,
Namor is part Atlantean, part
part
mutant.
mutant. Yeah.
So that's, you know,
I will
but it's,
say this. It does not make sense that Cameron, if she's a mutant, why does Cameron have the same powers that she has? And
Just a
why
different color.
but they're the same people. They both have the same, and so it doesn't really, I feel like the whole mutant thing is very tacked on. It does not feel like it was, like I think I said to August, it doesn't feel like it feels like they just decided, well, we're gonna shoot this scene at the end of the, later on, and just say like, well, you're a mutant, and then it's like, oh, okay, like, why? It doesn't, and then let's play the X-Men, 90s X-Men jingle, which was never. Which, by the way,
yeah.
if you ever watch any of the X-Men movies from the early 2000s, like, whatever, with Hugh Jackman, they never play that song in the entire X-Men. They expect you to know the 90s like, animated TV show, which I always thought was kind of strange. They did in Doctor Strange, too, with Professor X.
Yeah, because he had the yellow hover chair that was from the show.
Yeah, they gave him the yellow hover chair, yeah.
Yeah, but no, it didn't make any sense. I guess it made sense, but like only very loosely, and like apparently that was like the one thing that like Feige said they had to do, was that, like, okay, we have to make her mutant. Like, don't ask questions, just do it. And it's
Yeah,
like,
just do
okay,
it.
sure. But it felt kind of tacked on. I mean, like, they already have the explanation for her powers in that she's an alien.
Yeah,
So her
they
being a
don't,
mutant, like,
she
it just
doesn't
feels extra.
need. But yeah, she's like, I don't even think she's an. Is she? It doesn't make any sense that she's an alien either. I mean, why shouldn't she just be from a different dimension? Like, if you look at like Shang-Chi, where like he gains his
Yeah.
powers through like a dimension, and also he's like a, for whatever reason they love to combine two different worlds. They love, like, what is it? The dad is like possibly an alien, and he's like,
No,
he's
that's
lived.
human. It's the mom
He's
that was from a different
right,
dimension.
but the dad has like the rings, which have let
Which draw
him,
the power.
yeah, which draw the power, which have let him live for like, what is it, over 1,000 years, and then
Yeah.
the mom is from like this ancient, like, warrior race of people that have just been cut off from the world, which is a little, I don't know, that doesn't, I can't remember
It
why, but
yeah.
and but she's
If
the
they
same.
speak the same.
Yeah, and then they're doing it again with this, where it's like they're combining two different, like, they're give them two different powers, just fucking do it. And yeah, I thought that was kind of, it just doesn't make any sense to have to have a Jin storyline and then just be like, oh, but you're human, but you're a Jin, but also you're a mutant. So
Yeah.
Live with
Well,
it.
so that's honestly the Jin storyline thing is a whole different level of like weirdness, because like I don't know. The funny thing about this is that, like, from what I've read and from what I understand, like, Jin in Muslim culture are the equivalent of like the devil, only they really believe in them being real. So the
well,
fact that they made Kamala even a reference to a Jin, I hear, was like super problematic, because it's like, okay, so are you
Muslim
saying that, like,
culture.
yeah, are you saying that like this is promoting Jin? Because like I feel like to a lot of like conservative Muslims, this would be akin to like, yes, we're gonna say that the son of Satan is out there being a hero, and it's like, oh, I don't
Well, yeah,
know,
they
guys.
in the show they kind of referred to the Jinn as like the boogeyman in their
Yes,
culture.
yes,
So
they believe
this
they are real beings, or it was part of the culture that like, they're real very bad things, and it's like, So are you promoting Jin? And it's like it's funny how fast they dropped that aspect of her character. Like there
Yeah.
was even that line or just like, yo, if Thor landed way back, oh, I'm gonna knock my computer over. If Thor landed way back in Pakistan, he would have been called a Jin too. Like they made an interesting point about like, you know, how cultures see beings with superpowers. But I'm like,
But
I
then
don't know. Like I feel like that it just seemed like a super problematic way to do it. And like I feel like I know they had people that are of Muslim culture working on the movie, but at the
mhm.
same time, I'm like, I feel like maybe a little bit more thought should have gone into how they portrayed this. Because like I was hearing a story about someone's like, yeah, I'm not gonna let my kids watch that. Like they're saying Jin are good, and I'm like, like I think that's
Hmm.
not what you wanted to go and do there, Marvel. But I mean, I
Well,
don't know.
well, they also like confirmed that Jinn are real because they're saying, "Oh, these people from this dimension are Jinn." So it's like,
Well, I mean, that's the point I made with that. Like, they later even have a line in there that's saying, like, if Thor had landed, he would have been called a Jin
yeah,
too.
I
So
know,
essentially,
but
anyone with powers would have been called a Jin, which makes sense. But again, it's like I don't know. Like, I
did,
don't know if maybe they could have handled that a little bit smarter than
yeah,
they
but
did.
even the people from that dimension call themselves Jinn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I assume that's only because they've been around so long. They're like,
So
fine,
that
you
makes
call us
you
whatever you want.
question, like, why did the culture
Are they
refer
actually
to
called
Jin
Jinn?
as the boogeyman? So it's like, did they, I don't know, mess with people throughout
Well,
history?
I mean, the mom is kind of a crazy psycho who likes stabbing people. So I mean, it's not inconceivable.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, I mean, essentially that's the one thing that kind of annoys me about Marvel movies in general is that like they don't really play up the aspects of like what it would feel like actually living in a world with superpowered people. Like I'd be scared all the time, bro.
Yeah.
Any second,
Honestly,
like, a fucking car could be thrown through my
yeah.
house. Like it's not
There's
the like
like special insurance companies that cover damages if the Avengers fuck your shit up.
like the one thing of the Marvel movies I'll have to say are 100% unrealistic on is how average everyday people would feel about superpowered individuals.
Isn't
Like
isn't
there'd be so many more people on like the superhero registration act side. It wouldn't be funny because
well?
it's just like, dude, you could have someone who turns into a nuke and just blows up a city and like
Oh
you
yeah.
think we're gonna release that? You know, that's literally what happened in the Civil War comics. Is like the whole debate got started because there was someone who can turn into a nuke and they blew up a city and they're like, yeah, we can't just let people like that go running around without any kind of whatever. So it's I don't know. I like the comics, but I like the movies, but they've been so unrealistic about how the average person would feel about uh people with superheroes running around. I mean, like it would be a lot more like The Boys. Not that everyone would be terrible, but like there would be some stuff that like people would be like, I don't want to walk down that street. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I mean, I think it wasn't that what the first Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming. That was like the whole point of wasn't that the Vulture? Like he kind of was like part of like the people repairing the city after the Avengers like messed everything up.
Mhm.
So like, and then that created other supervillains because they, took the technology from the what is it, the tar the Targi, I don't know. The alien
No,
people
I
from
know. Yeah, the aliens from Avengers One. I can't remember what they're called either. But like, back to the topic at hand. Like,
oh,
did you have any other problems with Miss Marvel? Like, as because I have like at least three, but like I want to see if there was anything you liked, you didn't like about the rest of it before we all kind of give our rating.
well, I mean, I have a few things, but what do you think, Boobagel?
That I liked about it.
Or what
Or didn't like
or didn't
anything that
like?
stuck out
Yeah.
really.
Um, I don't know. I guess for me, um, I kind of like that it almost gave like Peter Parker Spider-Man vibes with the whole, teenagers just doing teenager things. And
Yeah.
I like that. A lot of people didn't like it. They're like, "Oh, this is cringy." But I'm like, "Dude, that's exactly how Peter Parker acts. Like,
Yep.
she's just another nerdy kid and she's obsessed with superheroes just like us, you know what I mean? Like, I
The
mean, if we were teenagers, I'm sure we'd be a lot more nerdier about it, but yeah, I like that aspect. It was realistic in that.
I liked Avengers Con. That was pretty cool.
I okay. I would honestly to add on that, Boobagel. I compared it to when I was writing my notes. I actually made a point to say it's like a combination between Spider-Man and then it has like elements of Black Panther. Like that's kind of like I guess the best I could kind of come up with because it's sort of like strong cultural aspects with like sort of that like, well, I'm just a normal kid like Spider-Man trying to live my life. Except she has a family, and you know, like you know,
Ouch.
I mean, she doesn't
Spider-Man
quite.
has an aunt. He has a family. Yeah.
And the only thing is like, well, and the drama comes from, well, yeah, she has a family. She's being raised by people. She's not, she's not able to go out and kind of do whatever the hell she wants. Well, at least at first. But yeah,
Whereas Peter kind of was, which is kind of the odd thing about it. Like he didn't have to really. I mean, he did a little bit of sneaking out in that first movie, but after that, they just threw it away.
like, hey, whatever, Peter. But yeah, the best thing I could come up with is for me, combination of Spider-Man, Black Panther. And let's see. So also, it really felt like in the show that they had not to overtalk you, Bagel. I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to add too.
I'm good.
Okay. It seemed like they forgot that Kamala had powers after a little bit. Like there was a while where she really didn't use any of her powers, and it was just all like, kind of world building there.
So to piggyback off that, I would honestly say it was up until the last episode, maybe. In episode 2, it was the superhero stuff that was the weakest portion of the show.
I agree.
All of the family stuff was amazing. Like all the family interactions, really, really amazing, really beautiful, really cute, all that stuff. But the superhero stuff was like, you're essentially a Green Lantern.
Yeah,
they,
Green
they, they
Lantern.
took her original power set from the comics and made her a Green Lantern. And I'm like, if you're a Green Lantern, lean into that. Like it was one of those things where like I'm like, Marvel, if you're gonna like copy, like just go into it. Like go buck wild about it. Be unabashed about it. Because I mean essentially the what is so cool about the Green Lantern power set is it's only limited by
Your imagination.
your imagination and the user's creativity. So, like, to me, they really should have played up the she's an artist angle, and that's what she wants to do with her life.
Yes.
So, like, when she was coming up with really effing artsy ways to use her powers, I thought that would have been really cool. Like, it would have been cool if, like, she turned her whatever into, like, Kali sticks and not just, like, fists.
Yeah.
Or she made like a platform for her to slide on, or made like a skateboard, or made like all like she could have been doing all this crazier stuff. Than what she did.
Well, I mean, I think the idea was that by the end of it, she supposedly just figured everything out. She had all of her powers, which was a little ridiculous.
Shonen moment. she had the like level Dragon Ball Z level up moment where instantly they're better.
I agree with that. I think there could have, obviously, with it all being crammed into how many episodes?
6
was it?
episodes.
Six episodes. She didn't really have. I mean, they definitely could have done it better. Her progressing to get
She
to
had
that
one
point,
training
not
montage.
just like being crap and then not crap. But I mean, I agree with that other thing about her being creative. Like the first episode, you see how creative she is. Like the videos she makes and everything. Like that's some really cool stuff. And then they kind of just like don't talk about it anymore.
Yeah,
I think that would have been cool to use that.
Yeah, you're right. It does not come back for a long time. It kind of, other than like, it obviously it comes back at the end, but they're calling back to it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I totally agree that it seemed like she could have been more creative with her powers. Also, can we talk about the ice cream on pizza kid? I don't know about you guys, but
I didn't even notice that. What was that?
So remember the first kid that was about to fall from I think it was like the mollusk?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but the mosque. Okay, yeah, mosque. The kid said she was Captain Miss Marvel was talking to him. He's like, "What's your favorite food?" And he's like, "Ice cream on pizza." And then I was like, "Drop him!" I was like, "Just drop him. Yeah. He's not worth saving."
Yeah,
they mentioned it again in the end.
Yeah,
one of the like TikToks that they're watching, somebody said something about it.
It's like, let's have ice cream and pizza.
Yeah.
More should have been said about ice cream on pizza.
Nah, man. That she should have just left that kid to go. I'm sorry. You're just committing too many crimes against humanity.
Yeah, I mean, like I love that training montage where she was learning her powers in episode 2, but like it feels like in episode I think 5 or 4, wherever she meets the Red Daggers, like there should have been a whole nother training montage where she gains like another power level. Because I mean, all she did before was she could do fists and she could do shields, and it's like
Yeah, and the
if
little
you were
stepping stools.
yeah, like if you were creative, you could do so much more with your powers, and like she just wasn't. And like that's my kind of fear about her when she shows up later in the Marvels. Is like, is she gonna do the same things? Because honestly, I'm not interested if that's all she can do. And I think, getting back to that, like I think we're gonna find out what her band is in the Marvels, because essentially at the end of this show, the post credit scene, the last scene is that scene where like she swaps places with Carol Danvers.
Oh, I
Like
never even
Carol
saw
shows
that.
up in, oh yeah, see a lot
You
of people
didn't watch
didn't.
it?
I did, but it didn't appear on mine.
Oh.
Yeah. Or he might have stopped right before the credits ended. But yeah, there's a scene where basically like I wasn't sure if she just like changed her body to look like Carol Danvers, but like the director went on to like later clarify that no, she actually swapped
Oh, it
spots.
definitely was Carol because she picks up some of her artwork and is looking at it like, "What the hell is this?" You know, she looks
Yeah.
around the room, obviously, she's never been there before.
Yep.
Uh,
So I think we're gonna find out that her band is one of the Nega bands, which is like basically superpower device in them in Marvel Comics. But it allows people to teleport based on the location of the other band,
mhm.
which I think what Carol's wearing at the end of that scene. But yeah, it's gonna be one of
Hmm.
those things where I'm like, I hope she gets another power level in that movie because like she can't really do much as a hero right now, unfortunately.
Yeah. Of course, I think it'll be like the other Marvel movies where she's just gonna show up and she already has the training montage was over between the movies.
That'll
Um,
be a little disappointing, but yeah, I can see it too.
what do you think? Okay, so for the last episode, okay, this is what I meant to say earlier, and I think I messed this up because I was reading it. The last episode, literally, of Miss Marvel turns into Home Alone. Did anybody like remember that? Where like,
The stuff in the school,
yeah,
okay with that.
yeah,
Honestly, like as dumb as that was, that really kind of fit the tone of the show that set early on. And as I said, it feels like they tried to do so much with like the going to Pakistan and doing other stuff
I gotta
that
let
it
the cat
felt like
out.
I was in a different show for a little bit. What I don't know. What did you think
Ending.
of the very Home Alone ending?
I don't know, I guess, it's been so long since I've seen Home Alone, I don't really,
Yeah,
yeah, I
basically
don't know.
when they were setting up all the traps for the
Oh, okay.
damage
Alright, yeah,
control
yeah.
agents. Yeah,
I see what you mean, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I, did they even use the softballs? I don't remember if
Yeah,
they
they did
used
at
them
the
or not.
end. Yeah,
Okay.
they
Alright.
put them in the little shooters.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Also, the fact that they were able to outrun, I mean, I get it. They were like Scooby Dooing essentially away from a bunch of dudes with guns, and it was so silly and stupid that I guess this is what I meant by saying it almost felt like Miss Marvel forgot that she had powers during that part, because I was like, why is she just not using them, and why is she putting all of her friends in danger, and
I kind
like,
of agree. I
Yeah.
100% agree, actually. Which is funny because there's the scene where Cameron like realizes like, no, why are we doing this? He just goes and fucks all the guards up. And I'm like, yeah, you should have done that the whole time.
yeah,
Like,
I don't understand, like,
yeah,
why would she avoid why would they make this elaborate
yeah,
plan that really didn't do anything?
Anything.
yeah.
It was all just to
Yeah,
waste
no,
time.
Filling time.
Yeah,
and
totally.
not only that, but like, what was the plan? Was it to waste time until they could get him off to the docks by boat? I'm like, well, he
Well,
didn't leave.
'cause
He was there the whole time.
yeah,
Like,
and
I
she
don't.
didn't, like, explain that plan to anybody, she just kept that to herself.
So
Yeah,
there was a part where ultimately they got into a bathroom and they were like, okay, I was like assuming, are they just gonna have him jump out the window? And no, a guard burst in through the window, and then they just turn around and leave the room. And then they're in a office together, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really, I know that they had made a plan, but the fact that it was so fucking clown shoes, and then at
Yeah.
the end, it never really did what it was supposed to do.
Nope.
It was sort of a little. It had. I think that's kind of a weaker aspect of it was the ending. Well, at least inside the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was dumb for so many reasons. The fact that
Once
Deaver
they
was
get
like,
outside.
yeah, the fact that like Deaver once they get outside is like, yes, shoot at kids, it's fine, don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Well, I mean,
In front of a school, in front of like a giant thing of witnesses.
there was a part where I was like watching it. I'm like, well, this isn't real. I mean, in America, they would all just be shot to death, like multiple
But, like,
times, especially
with less
Cameron.
witnesses, that's the thing. Like once they were in front of the school, like she should have realized it was game over.
Well,
But like,
yeah.
it was so dumb anyway because like they're doing the whole like Home Alone bit in the school. Meanwhile, the guns they shoot are taking out concrete walls. I'm like, if that hits you, that's every bone in your body.
You're done for.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, didn't some of them get shot too? Like, or am I mistaken?
I don't know. I can't remember. I know Bruno gets smacked in the face with a gun, and I'm like, okay,
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
just saying that part when Bruno was trying to like get their attention by playing music and singing, like I don't even remember what exactly he said, but it was really funny. That was probably like one of the only parts in the whole series that I actually like laughed, like a good laugh.
Where he got smacked real hard.
Yeah, and then like they all jump on him or whatever.
Yeah. But I'm like, I mean, he got hit really hard. I mean, like, I think like the movie, like, I mean, it was a fun series, but it definitely glosses over the potential like limb-breaking dangers they were in.
Yeah, there were multiple times where they could have just been shot. Especially like there's a scene where they're going down the stairs and the police are up the stairs and they're like simultaneously going down. Where it's like they could have just shot them there.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it's very confusing. Like I hated the fact that the intentions of the secondary, like the the police force, were not disclosed. Like they were super vague. They were damage control, and I feel like that's not good enough. I'm sorry. I need to know more.
They were definitely very like stereotypical villains, which in a show where like you can legitimately see where they're coming from, they just go overboard was kind of stupid. Like,
yeah.
They should have made damage control at least a little bit sympathetic, but ultimately doing the wrong things. Because other than that, they just see comic booky, you know.
I think the implication was that they were racist. I mean, at least that's what I could piece together.
I don't know.
And then I suppose at the end, kind of sort of, I guess we sort of have to wrap up and move on to Thor here. But, of course we had the moment where the dad's like, do you know what your name means? And then he's like, it means perfect. It means marvelous. And then it's like, boom. It should have just been roll credits right there. Like Miss Marvel.
That might have been the corniest scene in
it
the
was
whole
super
show.
corny. Yeah.
It was definitely big. Like, what are we, some kind of Suicide Squad energy?
Yeah.
Like, it was like you have to say the name of the thing in the show before you roll credits, otherwise it doesn't count.
Right. I mean, other than, I think we had mentioned that the mutant part is sort of tacked on. And then there's another, I don't know if anybody knows, and I could be wrong about this, but there's a part where, when everyone surrounds Miss Marvel and they're protecting her from the evil police force, there's a part where she's running away, like, here's the crowd, here's the school, right? Crowd's here. She's behind the crowd. She runs in this direction, and then once the police force is told to go away, she's running in the opposite direction.
Oh, really?
She's like, yeah. So, like, in terms of the way they shot it, it's very confusing. I would love to show, like, the scene if, like, we make a clip of this or something. But it was a little jarring, and I'm pretty sure that this is a FUBAR, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. I mean, all of the scenes where they show how she gets around the city make no sense. Like, you saying someone would immediately snitch and call that in? Like, excuse me, officers, there's a girl running through the sky right outside my window. Like, it was like drawing the most possible attention to yourself and then trying to pretend like people don't know where you are. Okay.
There's no way they can catch her, running
we'll never catch her.
At the speed of a human.
Yeah, it's not like she is like running like fast or anything. She just running, but
Yeah.
on her own little stepping stones.
Actually, it kind of seemed like she was more like walking, like maybe hopping, like from place to place.
Yeah,
Um,
which would be tiring.
Still, she wouldn't
absolutely.
go that fast. That's what I'm saying. Like, does she have like superhuman endurance as well?
Also,
She's secretly a pro athlete.
she does not have super strength, but yet she jumps out a window. And like I know that she like had her feet like covered in armor or whatever, but just the impact, she didn't cover her knees.
Physics don't matter. It's the MCU, baby.
So you're telling me a man with a
Physics
knife,
isn't real.
a man with a knife can break her shields, right? But jumping out a window won't do that? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, dude.
She was focused, more focused on the ground.
That was when she brought out her Hulk hands and became Stretch Armstrong.
And when she says "embiggen," a word she's probably never used before.
Yeah.
Just because
Embiggen.
in the comics, that scene was ridiculous.
I thought that was weird.
Why would you say "embiggen"? Like, no one says that.
Embiggen.
Like, so much of this just feels tacked on. Like they're like, it was in the comics, so we have to do it. And it was like, stop.
We could make some kind of a callback.
Why would you say "embiggen"? Like, there's not even a word. You just made that up. This is crazy.
Guys, what rating would you give Miss Marvel? What do you want to do? Like a 1 out of 10? I think that's
1 out of 10.
Yeah, because 1 out of 5 is sort of tough. You know,
We'll do 1 out of 10.
Let's do 1 out of 10. So what did you guys think? What would you give this show a rating?
I guess for me, I would probably give it like a 7.5, something like that. I don't know, like good characters and everything, but I think we all agreed the powers they could have done more. And then it was all kind of crammed. If it was longer, I think it would have been a lot better. So I'd say like 7.5 because it wasn't necessarily a bad show.
Yeah, agreed. It should have been longer. 100% agreed. It should have been 1 or 2 more episodes. I think it really would have hit.
Yes.
But yeah, for me personally, I'd give it like a 6. Like, I think the family stuff was amazing, but the superhero stuff, like, this is still a superhero franchise, guys. Like, you have to bring your A game, and this was not it. Like, this was like your B or your C game. So I hope it shows up in the Marvels, but like I enjoyed the show. I was not impressed, and I probably wouldn't watch a second season if they made it unless they really upped their game.
I think the second season is gonna be better because they don't have to establish as much plot, and it's if they can get into the meat and potatoes of the situation. I'll definitely watch the second season. What did you give it? Oh, you gave it a 6. I think I'm gonna give it a 7 as well. I think it was pretty good. I think it was better than I was giving it credit for. I love the family aspect of it.
That stuff was great.
That was great. That was the best part of it. I'm impressed that they were able to make a show that wasn't, it was based around being superheroes, but it really wasn't the most important part of it. I mean, I guess it kind of was, but they did a good job making all of the extra characters around. The cast is really good.
Yeah, and supporting cast is great.
And I think they I don't think the actress that played Miss Marvel is very good, but everyone made her look good.
Honestly, yeah. I thought she was good. It's that I don't think she was given enough to do.
Yes,
like, they really Kamala's personality should have been the centerpiece of the story, and I felt like it wasn't. If that makes any sense.
I'm pretty sure this was her first major role. I'm not even sure what she's been in prior, but
probably.
Yeah, because I remember seeing something like this is the first thing that Marvel did where the star hadn't been in a whole bunch of other things before. Like this was their first big thing.
What do you mean? Multiverse of Madness is about Xochitl Gomez, right?
Oh, maybe it's her I'm thinking about.
No. It's actually supposed to be about Doctor Strange, but really, it's about Xochitl.
What do we do? I feel like we should do a review of that.
American Sanchez.
We can lump that all up in the phase 4 review.
Is it American Sanchez? What was it? American Chavez.
America Chavez. Yeah.
My bad.
But I can't say her first name. Starts with
Xochitl. It starts with an
It's pronounced so chill. It's literally pronounced so chill.
So chill?
Yeah.
Damn it, dude. All right, so you guys want to move on to Thor 4?
Yes, absolutely. I will at one point throw in though. I love everything about the family stuff in Miss Marvel, except for the fact that the more you think about it, it makes even less sense
Yeah,
because the
don't
mom
think.
starts off super restrictive,
Yeah.
and then by the time she finds out she's a superhero,
like,
she's like, "Oh, do whatever
hey,
you
come
want."
on.
I will say one thing about the family thing as well. It's nice seeing like a family like aspect, considering most of the heroes we know have nobody.
Super
So
dysfunctional family. It's
Yeah.
not
it's
nobody.
nice.
All right, so let's go over Thor 4, and then I guess we can briefly go over Phase 4, and then we can call it, because we're already going over time. So what did you guys think of Thor, Love and Thunder?
I loved it.
I unabashedly loved it, and I'm
Yeah.
super weirded out that it seems like the internet does not love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's weird.
I
but
agree.
It's to me, this is honestly the best movie of Phase 4. Like I would say like I probably liked Spider-Man a little bit better, but Spider-Man relies on you liking Spider-Man for 20 years.
Oh yeah, totally.
This is like as a standalone movie, this is the best standalone movie of Phase 4, and I don't understand I don't understand what people wanted different about this movie because to me it's perfect. It's almost
I
perfect.
completely agree. I think what I've been seeing is that people, oh, it's too many jokes. It's a comedy. Like, is it
Yeah.
not like supposed to be
It's
funny?
it's
And
still supposed to
the
have
last
jokes.
time, the last time a Thor movie was serious, everybody hated it. Like Thor: Dark World, nobody liked. You
Yeah.
barely even remember anything from it, and I've seen it twice. So I don't know. I really loved Love and Thunder, and I thought the same thing when I finished watching it. And I was looking at reviews online, and so many people were shitting on it. I was like, dude, did we watch the same movie? It was really
Yeah.
good.
I think it's a lot of it has to do with like, doesn't it have hate for the director Taika Waititi?
I don't even know because people love all his other stuff or most of his other
Thor
stuff.
Ragnarok, that's
Pe-
everybody's
yeah,
ultimate favorite.
people loved Ragnarok, which is I think usually everyone's favorite Thor movie. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this was just more Ragnarok with this was just Ragnarok with more serious themes, or this was Ragnarok with like more emotional themes outside of just
Yeah.
like Thor's family stuff.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, this is the best Thor movie. Like I like Ragnarok, but this is like Thor gets a daughter in the end. He reconciles his feelings with his first love. Like this is so much more positive in terms of like everything that happens to him, and that people just don't like it. I don't know, and it's weird. Like even when like people are complaining about the other stuff in the movie, they're like, Gore should have killed more gods, and I'm like, uh, that wasn't like I see what you're saying, but like
It
that
was
kind
about
of would
Thor.
have like it wasn't really it was about Thor. The movie wasn't about Gore. Like I don't know. It's just weird. Like people want more death and destruction, but then like they don't because they see that just makes a dark movie that no one likes, and then we get like a Scott Snyder situation. Like I don't know. I feel like the internet just doesn't like. I often feel like the internet doesn't know what it wants, but I especially feel it for this movie.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I don't know. Yeah. No, I thought it was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. I think it's the best Phase 4 movie. Easy. I mean, I don't think it was. So the problem is it didn't have to like live up to the idea of the multiverse as much as other MCU movies, because I think that's why I was disappointed in Spider-Man. I was disappointed in Multiverse of Madness. I just thought they were like basically just cowards for not doing anything with the world,
Yeah,
because
they tried to do too much and did nothing.
they did nothing, and ultimately none of those movies really impacted the way that the overall arcing story, like, it really didn't do anything. Like, look at Spider-Man. Spider-Man's like, everybody just forgot who he was, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like I hated that, and
Yeah.
I don't.
Sad.
I mean, like, I get that it's depressing, but also, like, Peter Parker, you were upset that fucking your friends are going to a different college and you endangered the entire world, not even to meaning like other multiverses.
Multiverse. Not even
Like,
the multiverse.
which, it was all because, whatever. And then also, it's really ultimately Doctor Strange's fault because he's a fucking idiot. And then somehow just blame Peter Parker for it.
No, but like for real though,
Yeah, he's an
like
idiot.
Dude, like, I think that's kind of the low-key secret of Multiverse of Madness. Was the Illuminati right? Low-key.
I mean,
Dude
yeah.
endangers the entire multiverse on a whim just because he fucks around and he finds out.
Yeah,
And it's
totally.
like, he's way too powerful to just, like... Dude, why are you just doing whatever you feel like?
Yeah, he's like what is it? Like even Wong, like being the Sorcerer Supreme, like really doesn't step in to do anything. You know, like he's like,
Wong's his
oh,
friend.
he's like,
Wong doesn't come on his bullshit
He's
either.
kind of just like, leave me out of it and you can do whatever you want.
he's like, I'm going on vacation. Don't you kids do anything wrong. And
Like,
then
if the ancient one came back, she would beat both their asses for just being dumb.
Oh my god.
I
She'd
mean,
be like, you did what?
I remember.
To the multiverse, what?
Remember in what is it in Endgame? Like she's like, Strange is supposed to be the best of us, and then like, he's just doing all this fucking dumb shit. You know, like yeah. It's like,
Oh man, she'd be so disappointed in her investment if she knew.
she went through and saw the future. She's like, oh, oh, I see all these things, and then you know.
I feel like she stopped at a certain point. She's like,
Well,
they got
'cause,
this,
like,
right?
Yeah.
Like she can only see into the future so far because she couldn't see past where she dies.
Yeah.
So like she could see everything else.
Oh
That's-
yeah, no,
that's
that is
true.
a plot point.
That's
yeah,
a true.
so it's
That
like
makes sense.
she should have. Oh man, if she could have only seen the dumb shit he would get up to.
Yeah, but then why does she know that Strange is supposed to be the best of them? Like, at what
I mean,
point?
because he's super talented. I mean, the fact how like his saving the world in Endgame was really amazing. But I'm like, bruh, after that, I'm not saying you peaked, but you gotta find a new hobby.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe she only saw to that point, and from what she saw, he was the best of, I don't know, them, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it was just a throwaway line that they really didn't look into. But
Yeah,
He's a menace. He's a menace.
but I guess we have to get back to Thor.
Right.
Sorry guys, I loved Thor. I thought it was great. I think it's the best Thor movie personally. I had so much fun with it, and I mean Gore was probably the weakest part of it, and I really didn't care for like the ending. Well, part of the ending. I think okay, so here's my biggest gripe. I think that my problem with this is I think that it is sort of I think it was a self-insert of Taika Waititi in a way because
I mean, Korgard is.
Well,
Like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I think in the story though, you know, other than, you know, him, it's there's a lot of vanity to some of the aspects of the movie, I think, to reflect on the director. Like obviously having his kids in the movie.
But so did Chris Hemsworth. You know what I mean?
Sure. Fine, that's fine. But I mean, I think this more reflects on him in like basically essentially the answer to all Thor's problems was to have a child. And that is the answer at the end. It's that you have you have a midlife crisis, get a child because they will fix all of your problems.
Well,
and I don't
no, but,
I
like,
do not like that message. I think
So I think that's I think it was I see where you're getting that, but I don't think that's the complete picture. I think that at the beginning Peter was like, bro, you just need to find something to care about.
yeah, it's a child.
And that's what it ended up being. But like it didn't tell Thor to have a child. It just said that like you need to find something to care about. And like he did. And it was a cute way it happened. I don't know. I
think
like
it kind of tied up well too with the fact when he was talking to Jane, how he had been like going back and forth in his head, like did he want to stay with her and like start a family? He had mentioned it in the movie that he wanted to have a kid with her, you know, before they, you know, split off and then everything else that happened.
Yeah. I'll say in terms of like backstories, this is one of the few movies that does a flashback right, in that it instantly like makes the Jane Thor relationship a million times better and also makes sense why they split up.
I agree.
Because
Right.
before I'm like, I don't see what they see in each other, like other than he's hot. And now I'm like, oh okay, like he's a little bit of a himbo, but like in a cute way. And like they got along, and it was cute. Like that scene of them roller skating with
Yeah.
Mjolnir pulling them. That's top 10. That's top 10 Marvel shit for me. It's just a great piece of like imaginative stupidity.
But
But
I mean,
yeah.
I know we're moving on from the subject, but do you think, I mean, because this is where I kind of have a gripe with it, is that I want to bring it back to the child thing, because ultimately having something to distract yourself does not fix your internal problems as an individual. So I think Thor will continue to be unhappy. He should be, because he is using something else as a void to fill, and that's why I don't like the child thing.
Yeah.
It's not
I
my
get that.
favorite.
Yeah.
I think as well though, with her being a person and her having, she has a personality or whatever. I think raising her, he'll probably learn a lot more about himself and he'll teach her lessons that he maybe didn't know that he needed to hear as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time that's what people do. They kind of like preach and then they don't practice it. But maybe he'll learn things from her.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like honestly, like I think he was at an unhappy place because a lot of shit had happened to him and he wasn't really moving on because of it. And I think this was really the cathartic movie. Like, I mean, it tied up his loose ends with Jane. It gave him something to do in the future. Like, yeah, it's not gonna fix his life, but I think he was already well on the path to fixing his life. You see that at the beginning of the movie where he's like getting back in shape. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna go from sad bod to dad bod, or from
Yeah.
dad bod to god bod, or I don't even fucking know. But
Mhm.
like I think he was already well on the way to doing some self healing. It's just that like you know seeing Jane brought back some old feelings, but I mean, he was able to kind of work past those in the end because like he realizes that life is meant to be lived, and I don't know. I was really happy with this movie. I don't see what people weren't seeing about it. I
Eh,
liked it. It was really cute. Within the end, that like. Dude, the chemistry between him and the little girl at the end was amazing, and I'm like, why was
Mm.
it so good? And then I looked it up, and it's actually
Yeah.
his daughter, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit,
I
eh.
thought
that's
the
really
same
Chris
thing.
Hemsworth's daughter, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's his actual daughter. Like I think 3 of his kids are in the movie. Like 2 of his kids were as him being younger. Like when you see him like running as a little kid,
Mhm.
like that's one of his sons.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, no, I don't know. I really like this movie. I think the biggest problem with Phase 4 Marvel movies is that they try to do too much world building for
Yeah.
shit down the road, and they're shitty standalone movies, they're shitty individual
Mhm.
movies. The story they tell, like in between the actual, start start credits to end credits, isn't that good. That's my complaint about Multiverse Madness. I didn't feel that with this movie. I thought this had a complete story arc for the main character from start to finish, and I loved it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd give this movie like a 9 easily.
Yeah, man. I think I give it like an 8. I don't think it deserves a 9. I think that's for me. I think it's a little
Mhm.
too strong. I think it's a really good movie. I think it's a good movie. I liked the fun. I had fun with it. I don't like the idea that Jane goes to. I don't want to see the scene where Jane goes to Valhalla. I don't know. I feel like it makes her death cheapened a little bit.
I'd say it gives her a happy ending because her spirit ends up somewhere.
Yeah, but
Like it's a
I would have been way more like, I don't know, like I would have been, I don't know how to explain it, but I would have been more sad if I didn't know. Like, oh well, I mean, I guess she went to Valhalla. It's all good. And then
Yeah.
I didn't want to. I didn't really like that. I mean, also well, I mean, they diverged from the story of Jane being Thor quite a bit.
Well,
Because
yeah, this is a complete departure from what all of these stories do in the comics. Like the
yeah,
uh, God Killer. Oh, I'm not saying that right.
the God Bomb.
Well, God Bomb is the second part of the story. It was the first part. It's like God something. But yeah, the Gore storyline is different. The
Hmm.
Mighty Thor storyline with Jane is different. And I think the other storyline in there is different. And I'm really interested as to why they decided to choose Eternity. Because I'm sure that's going to come up later. Because I'm like,
I
you don't
guess
just. Yeah.
for me, like to me, the most disappointing part about the movie was they don't actually show Jane get like, her abilities and like they just
They
kind of
just
show
skip
her
over
walking
it.
up to Mjolnir and then later she shows up all Thor and everything. I don't know, because they filmed it. I read that they filmed the scene, they just cut it out.
Yeah, I hear they filmed a ton of stuff in this
Yeah.
movie. Like there was like a 4-hour cut somewhere that we're
That
never
would
going to
have
see,
been really
which
fun to see.
makes
I
me
think.
sad.
I want the
Yeah.
Taika cut.
I do. I kind of do.
I want the 4-hour fucking Lord of the Rings version.
What did you guys think about the goats? Everybody hated the goats.
I loved it.
I feel like the goats
Screaming.
were like a reference to something that I didn't
They were.
quite pick
Do
up.
you remember? Do you know what they were a reference to?
It was like a TV show, right?
Taylor Swift's 21.
No,
Or
Taylor
22.
the Taylor Swift meme
What?
of like remember like the Trouble music video where it's like trouble, trouble, trouble.
Oh yeah, that one.
And
That
then they
one.
replaced the like with goats. That's what that's a reference to. It's like a 10-year-old meme.
Yeah.
Which is insane to me. Like who just thinks of like a 10-year-old meme and is just like, I want to throw that in the movie. But it was funny. I thought it was funny. It just like I would never have thought it was a Taylor Swift mashup reference, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, for me, I cried probably like 2 or 3 times during that movie, I would
Yeah.
say. I'm kind of emotional, you know what I mean? But
Cool.
it was good. The movie had like it was funny and it was a lot of action and it was emotional and
It was
I guess-
heartfelt, yeah.
yeah.
Like the whole, like the fact that at the end Jane is literally like, I know I'm probably gonna die, but like I need to save Thor and I need to save those kids. That's a great A. That's heroism. That showed me why Thor fell in love with her all along. Because like, you know, deep down he knew that, you know, she had the hero inside.
Well,
Put herself in harm's way to save
it also implied that she wasn't worthy, that she was only worthy because Thor had like sort of put that into his those thoughts into his hammer somehow. That it really wasn't elaborated on.
Yeah,
like,
which I would
he
say
kinda,
that
like
that
charmed the hammer.
yeah. Which I would say is maybe the weaker point in the movie, because it would have been cool if she was just worthy on her own. Like that deconstruction of like why the hammer worked for her. Maybe like I don't know. I don't know if I like that. It would have been cool if she were just worthy because, you know, her battle with cancer and deciding to be a hero in spite of that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I didn't love that part, but at the end of the day, like, you know, I think her sacrifice in the end kind of shows her true character.
Just,
But I really liked this movie. I don't know.
do you think that? I mean, obviously, I think one big issue with it is Gore could have been fleshed out more. I mean, he had a very
He was in like 4 scenes. I think he was in 4 scenes.
he had a very shallow character arc.
Maybe 5.
Is it AJ? I'm just saying AJ. Hello, welcome to the chat, dude. Welcome to the backlog. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, so just remember, if you ever get depressed, if you know your life is a void,
Yeah.
go
Adopt a
go get a child, and then it'll fix everything.
A child with superpowers. Yeah.
I mean, it could be a child with superpowers, could not. I mean, I'm just saying that.
Make some money off of that child.
Whoa.
What if they have superpowers? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Set this child up for their
Sell them to the
Gotta pay for their
Soikas.
college.
Sell them to
Yeah,
the.
no, I liked it. I thought honestly, like the whole child thing was him just honoring his agreement with Gore about taking care of.
Well, yes, but it's just the answer that I just don't prefer that sort of like that message because I think it's personally I think it's what a lot of people come to the conclusion of in life is like they sort of they stop like emotionally learning and progressing as an individual, and then it's not only till they get to having a child that they sort of stop focusing on themselves, and then they completely stop growing because they live vicariously through someone else. I don't like that. And there's also an aspect of like I don't know how to like what is the term? It's where people put pressure on other people to have kids. Like, you know, people who are single or, you know, whatever it may be.
Yeah. But that wasn't really this movie, though.
There's like a societal norm to it, but
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I feel like that is like a big, you know, I don't feel like Thor, he grew a little bit, but not, I mean, I don't think it's as much as everyone thinks.
As I said, I think he from the beginning of the movie all the way to the end, I definitely think he has a pretty well defined character arc. And like, yeah, I mean, he's not perfect at the end of the movie, but I think he's learned a lot.
I
And
don't.
he's right.
He just
Yeah,
continuously loses people. You'd think he'd probably get even more depressed after losing Jane, after he just, figured out his feelings for her, confessed them to her, and then lost her, like right after.
Yeah. I think once he found out that she was dying, he didn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
He kind of had to do what he had to do. Also, that part on the boat when they're talking, that's the part where I got sad. I was like, oh
Mhm.
man, like, because it's like, imagine how crushing it would be to somebody who actually like lost their wife to, cancer. I was like, I can't imagine somebody actually sitting through that, and not
Mhm.
crying or whatever it may be. But I mean, I think it was I do think it's a good movie. I do think it's an 8, but I do think it has problems. I don't want to completely kiss its ass, but I had a lot of fun with it. I really
Yeah, I'd
did.
probably say the same thing. I would probably say like 8.5. I know. I'm kind of like in between
Always
8 and 9.
one
I
always
want to
always
give it a
halfing up
9.
me.
yeah.
You want to give it a
I would,
9? Give it a 9.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll
I
give it
would.
a 9. I just loved it. It was good.
I'm giving it a 9 too, and I'm not saying I want like every movie to be like this, but I'm like,
Hmm.
bro, like I think a lot of people are kind of not understanding that the Marvel formula involves comedy. Comedy is going to be there in some way, even if it's a dark movie.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Captain America 2, pretty serious, straightforward spy thriller. Still
Yeah.
had comedic scenes. Like that is the Marvel formula.
Yeah.
Comedy is going to be in there somewhere. Avengers Endgame, I'm sure there's a joke in there somewhere.
Oh
Same
yeah.
with Infinity War. Like those are super dark movies, but I'm sure there's some
Um
comedy.
AJ, I do not think that Multiverse of Madness is better than Thor 4. I think Thor 4 is a better movie. I think I think Multiverse of Madness has a lot of issues in terms of there is too much, and a lot of the characters that are established just wind up not really mattering by the end of the movie.
Doctor
Um,
Strange's character arc could have been solved in one weekend. All I'm saying.
Actually, literally within the first 10 minutes, they're like, oh, you're moving on? Oh, okay. And then, like
You gotta get over
August
your
said,
ex.
the next scene could have been him in a bar drinking with his friend, and it's like, you got to move on. And then, that's essentially the extent of his character arc.
Yeah.
Um, you
It wasn't
know,
his movie. It was
I
it
would
was
say
it was everyone else's movie but his.
I would say Multiverse of Madness had a lot more hype. Like everybody loves Thor, but it was a multiversal movie.
yeah,
Everybody was expecting a whole lot out of it.
they
And
thought
then the
something was
fact
going
that
to
it
happen.
was probably the most disappointing part. Like if they didn't hype it up or as much, it made it seem it was going to be something more than it. I think it would have, gone by a lot better.
People thought Wolverine was going to be in the movie. They thought Deadpool was going to
Deadpool.
be in the movie. They thought like all of these characters, which they only had a small select few. Um, is anybody else like getting that sound? Is that coming from you,
Yeah.
August?
Is it?
What
I
are
don't
you
know.
What are you doing, man?
I'm just outside living life, bro. Maybe it's me, bro.
Anyway, like they thought all these things were gonna happen. I was excited. I was hoping they were actually going to bring like more X-Men into the story and explain being a mutant.
He didn't even use mutant. Charles Xavier is in that movie, and the word mutant is not used.
Yeah, it's not
Like,
it's not
why?
used. It's not
Easily.
explained.
They could
The,
easily tie everything in just by using the multiverse, so they kind of missed an opportunity with that.
There's so
exactly,
many opportunities
exactly.
for that movie. I don't get it. Like that movie, it was like the greatest chance of like setting up references or shit for
Yeah,
later.
in the
Like,
future.
Mutant should have been thrown out. Like Hell should have been thrown out. Just because like we could get a really cool storyline involving like Hell with like Wanda and a couple other people. Like there's so much they could have done.
Um,
Like Mephisto, like so much could have been set up that they just were like, oh, we'll set up Secret Wars and that's it.
I mean, Mephisto. Let's face it. Mephisto should have been the plot. Well, it could have been the plot point of of
WandaVision.
no, not WandaVision. God damn it, Spider-Man: No Way
No Way
Home.
Home. Yeah,
Yes,
that's what I figured you
because
were gonna
essentially
say.
that's what the One More Day, I think it's what's
From
called.
the comics.
Yeah, from the comics, because like that's essentially what they took from, but it's fine. I think what upset me was like they finally introduced the Mr. Fantastic, and I was like,
Mhm.
awesome. They
That was
introduced
cool.
Charles Xavier. Both of these are like, you have certain pillars of Marvel, right? You have the X-Men, you have the Avengers, you have the Fantastic Four, right? All of them like are very important characters to the world, and then they just killed them off, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, why are you
Yeah.
doing this? Why?
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool, and then also,
Yeah.
you have essentially the whole Illuminati just getting bodied by Wanda, and she just also kills Captain Marvel by dropping a statue on her, which doesn't make any fucking sense. Like you see the other Captain Marvel in at least in Endgame, she's like blasting through an entire ship and just destroying it with
Yeah.
just her, and she's just like, "Mm, dead."
Yeah.
I mean, I get everybody else dying, fine.
Yeah.
Also, with Reed Richards being like, I'm the smartest man in the
Yeah.
world. And then he's like, well, Black Bolt, he just has to say one word and then you can die. And she's like, what mouth? And just gives away
Yeah.
their biggest weapon.
so
He's the
smart.
smartest man in the world, yet he's gonna he
Maybe-
understands everything.
Maybe book smart, not common sense.
Yeah.
No.
Overconfidence in smartest man in the world. Name more iconic
It
duo.
was really amazing though when it popped up and it was John Krasinski, because that's been like a fan cast for years. So I
Yeah.
literally
That
I
was
grabbed my boyfriend and my brother. I grabbed their arms and I was like, "Holy shit!" And
Eh,
they said I hurt them.
but-
I was so
but-
excited.
But here's the thing, Boobagel, is that now these characters may not return. They
Yeah.
may be a one-off. You might get a different multiverse version of them that is a different
Yeah,
person.
Yeah.
which
What is-
sucks. But
What
Hold on,
makes even less sense to me is that like they literally ask like, "Do you have kids?" And like John Krasinski is like, "Yeah." His son is like one of the like
Yes.
most powerful beings in the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
So,
he's a
like,
reality
that
warper.
doesn't have consequences later, then I would be so mad. Because like I would love to see like an angry version of like Frank and Richards like hunting Wanda down,
that
and
was
then
like
yeah.
the coldest line when she's like, "Do they? Is the mother still alive?"
Oh
He's
yeah,
like,
Wanda's a bitch.
And
Wanda's
she's like,
low-key a
"Good, then there'll be
bitch.
someone to take care of them."
I'm like, yeah.
We're dropping some frames
Fucking
here, guys.
Okay.
Hold on one second. I don't like AJ. How's the stream right now, man? Are we? Looks
I'm
like
watching
we're.
it on my phone. It looks like
Yeah.
we're good now. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Says
It's kind of
bro.
freezing here and there.
Says browser encountered an error while decoding the video. Hold on one second. Yeah, we're frozen right. Oh no, we're good. We're good.
We're moving again.
Anyway, I'm just looking at the bit rate and it's starting to die. I don't know why it is, but it is. So we might have to wrap up here, unfortunately.
Don't you love it?
Yeah. So yeah, I think honestly, I think that they like it was like the Venom thing, right? Like where they're like, let's put Venom in No Way Home and then see how that works and if people like that. And essentially what it came down to was, Venom, go back to your dimension. I'm sorry, we don't give a
Yeah.
shit about you. And then they only used him to set up the possibility of having the Venom symbiote, which, by the way, confirms in the second Venom movie, which is a world-building movie, by the way, in the Marvel. I mean, I know no one cares.
Tonyverse.
Yeah, I know nobody cares about, the Sonyverse, whatever, which is fine, because, Morbius. But essentially,
That's the best part. What are you talking about?
what Venom says is that he is connected through to every version of the Venom suit throughout history and the multiverse, and he can literally go through and pick any memory that he has. So literally he's fucking stupid in the movies, but he has this entire archive of thousands of years of Venom symbiote knowledge. Which is a little strange that they just kind of threw that in there. But yeah, but I don't think Tom Holland is, I'm not Tom Holland, but Tom Hardy is going to be Venom in Marvel if he ever comes back.
Yeah, speaking of like future speculation shit, like I would love for them to go like an entirely different route with the symbiote in this comic, where it's not Peter who finds it, but it's like someone else, like Gwen Stacy.
Yeah,
Like if
you
they could do
you
like
said that to me before.
yeah, if they could do like a Gwenom angle, that could be actually pretty sick, or like just something different,
Or
like those
Flash
are, like
Thompson.
yeah, or even
Oh yeah.
that would be cool. Anti Venom in the comics. Also, isn't there? I think there's like a symbiote Scorpion version where like
Yeah.
It's like Venom Scorpion. So that could be cool. But yeah, I just don't want them to just give the Venom suit to Parker again in the MCU. That would be kind of lame. But
Well-
yeah, wrapping up. Did we all give ratings to Thor? We did all give ratings to Thor,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so yeah, we're just talking about like Phase 4 into 5. Like,
Yeah.
what do you guys want to see? Because I mean, there's been buzz about the X-Men stuff, even though none of it's on the agenda.
Seems
There's been
like
buzz about a
decades
lot of
away
stuff.
now.
Well, I mean, so supposedly there's a bunch of stuff that was just announced this weekend. We're
Mhm.
on the weekend just after Comic-Con. There's a bunch
Mhm.
of stuff announced yesterday. But basically, they announced all of Phase 5, which is next year for the most part. They've announced a couple of things for Phase 6, but they haven't said everything. They're I think, gonna do a couple more things at D23. Like, what do you guys want to see for the future? I mean, obviously for me, it's the X-Men. Like, that's what I'm here for. I love the first two X-Men.
I'll tell you what I want to see. I want to see Marvel cut down on the amount of TV shows that they're doing, and I want to see them make higher quality television shows and movies. I think they're doing too much right now, so much so that it has been recently announced that their their CG department, their graphics department, or whatever they are called. They've been said that they've been under crunch time quite a bit, like to the point of they can't work under those conditions.
Most of the VFX studios are now turning down projects for them because their timelines are just super unrealistic.
Which is why you have things like She-Hulk looking fucking weird, and
I mean, the new trailer looked better, but it still could be better.
She still
overall.
looks so weird, especially in comparison to what we've had in the last like 5 years. Like everything is just kind of like you said, they're doing way too much at one time. Which I think it's cool because there's a lot of things that people want to see, so they're trying to do all those things, but like they gotta, manage it better because it's just not gonna come out as the quality as people are, used to. Like Doctor Strange had some CGI issues people didn't like.
And I think that's the biggest thing in general. Like with all the new projects they have, their quality controls on the toilet. Like I would say that there are like 2, maybe 3 shows that are consistently good episode to episode. Everything else has some good episodes. There's a lot of bad episodes, or like it goes up and down.
Yeah.
And like we're not even gonna talk about the CG in a lot of those shows, which is like some of the CG in Ms. Marvel was like Agents of Shield level CG. Like Belt Dude. I'm like, yo, your power's what? You have like a belt whip? Like that's so lame. Like, really?
Well, that's a like a whip sword or something like that. I think
it just looked so stupid, and I was like, man, I don't know. And I mean, I told you my concerns about Moon Knight, where I'm like, I could have fallen asleep during episodes 3 and 4 and not have lost anything, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like
that show went to like a standstill.
Filling out 6 episodes is like really what like the mandate that kind of I think hurts a lot of the shows. I also think that we're gonna start to head into the territory where only if you're following all of these extra product like shows and stuff that you're gonna understand what's going on in the movies, which is gonna start alienating the fans. It was inevitable that it was gonna happen, but still, I think it's gonna be you. I went to go see No Way Home with an older gentleman that was a friend of a friend, whatever, right? He had no idea what the fuck was happening throughout the entire movie of No Way Home, which
a lot of people wouldn't. Same with Multiverse. Like, if you hadn't seen WandaVision, good luck.
I went to see Multiverse Madness with my brother, and he's like, "Wait, what's going on? Why is Wanda doing that? And how did the multiverse, like, you know what I mean?" I'm like, "Did you watch Loki or WandaVision?" He's like, "No." I'm not gonna sit and answer your questions the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think WandaVision and the heel turn that she does with Multiverse of Madness, I think it's a little too. I think it's too much. I don't think that. I mean, obviously she's under the spell of the Darkhold, but I don't know. It didn't seem. It didn't. it didn't imply that she was evil at the end of it, at the end of WandaVision. It just kind of implied that she unlocked her abilities, and that she was kind of studying like Doctor Strange did, right? That's what I got out of it. And then it's like, oh no, she's just reading the Darkhold, and she's becoming evil because of it. And then because she became evil, I just wound up hating the character altogether. And especially with WandaVision, I hated her even more because I don't think that she's actually a sympathetic character. I don't feel bad for her at all, and I don't think that she was right to ever do anything
Yeah.
that she did. Like I think she sucks as a character actually, and maybe that's what they were aiming for. You know, maybe that was the entire point. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. With the fact that like
My imaginary children.
yeah, Wanda, yeah, she went cuckoo.
Which they
She went
never
like batshit
explain.
crazy.
They never
But
do explain.
there's like, a whole bunch of people that are like obsessed with her no matter what she does. It's like, dude, she could kill an entire like, she enslaved a whole town and she killed a whole bunch of innocent people, and people are still like, but mommy Wanda. I'm like, dude.
Well, also then you had like Spectre, who is like, yeah, but she could have killed me, and then it's like, yeah, but she didn't, and then it's like, the guy, the suit, he's actually the good guy, but but the story flips it on his head and makes it seem like the man is the bad part, which he's not. It's I think the idea is that like if they listen to that guy, then the story might have got flipped on its head. Also, the fact that Vision isn't in Multiverse of Madness in any sort of reference or form
Yeah, how
does not
kids
make any
exist?
sense.
They
Yeah,
never explained how our kids exist.
Yeah, like you'd think she'd want to go somewhere where her kids and Vision were both still like all still alive. Like
Right, there
she
was no
loves
mention
Vision.
of Vision whatsoever.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, at the end of WandaVision, you get White Vision that just disappears. Like, where the hell did he go? Like,
I
are
thought
we
he
ever
was
gonna see
gonna.
him again?
I thought he was gonna appear in the movie.
Yeah.
He just didn't. He just
Yeah.
he, you know. But yeah, no. I mean. Uh. So with that, what are you guys looking forward to? What do you, how should we phrase this, August? Should we
Are
continue
we
with?
talking about the end of phase 5, or are we talking about phase 6? Like, are we
Shoot,
talking about, sorry, the end of phase 4? Like, what are we looking forward to from what we know is coming, or what are we looking forward to that hasn't been announced yet? What are you trying to say?
I think that's really like where I'm going. What do you guys think of Phase 4 as a whole? Do you like it?
I personally do. Yeah,
I think
I
it's
do.
mid.
I think it's mid.
I think it's enjoyable. A lot of the things that came from Phase 4 were enjoyable, but then there was also things that were just like, kind of watched it just like you said because you feel like you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Um, Is with how the Marvel's going, but overall, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy a lot of the movies that were in it and the shows as well.
Hawkeye
think the movie-
sucked. Just gonna say it right now. I
Hawkeye
didn't
was
like it.
Dude,
Hawkeye was
was
amazing.
so good.
Hawkeye was the
probably
best
the
of the
best show that
I
show.
they
did
had.
not like it. I thought it was the
the
weakest,
most
man.
consistent show they've
I
had.
really liked Moon Knight, but I would have to say Hawkeye was good only because I mean you finally get to see more about him. You know what I mean? You get to see more of how his character is because he was. They make the whole joke like ongoing throughout the series
That
where
he's
Kate's like, "You
nobody
need more
cares.
branding. You need more branding." Like he needed more branding, and I think that's one of the things that people just kind of brushed him to the side because he wasn't as popular.
It wasn't. It wasn't It wasn't just a in story reference. It was a literal reference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I loved how like his whole goal was trying to go home and be a family man.
Yeah,
But
it's
he's
all he
like,
wanted.
I try to get out and they keep pulling me back.
The old Die Hard vibes.
I like
No,
my.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Again, another show where really a whole show that's not even about Hawkeye. It's about Kate. So
I mean, it was kind
Yeah,
of about
I
Hawkeye,
agree.
though. I think it was like
I do
think it was like
agree.
70% about 8, but it was at least like 30% about Hawkeye.
Fair.
Maybe
I do agree that they'll they'll pull characters that we all know and love, and then they'll make it look like it's a solo film, but in all reality, they're kind of just like co-starring with the
Oh, it's
new
been spin-off city.
Fates.
It's been like we gotta make spin-offs, guys.
Yeah, because Echo's coming.
Well,
Yeah.
well. Speaking of which, did anyone see that in She-Hulk that Daredevil is in the trailer?
Rolls in at the end.
Yeah.
New
Yep.
suit, maybe.
There's
And he's
actually yeah.
Yeah, he's got his own series coming with 18 episodes in the first season.
Which is
That's a
crazy. That's
lot.
more than he got for Netflix. That's more than one season, a single season Netflix.
So when Kevin Feige was like, "There's only one Daredevil and it's Charlie Cox," and it's like, absolutely, and he fucking really meant it. Like he loves I mean, the Daredevil series is great. I think it's one of the best Marvel TV. Let's face it, it's one of the best
projects. It's one of the best projects.
Yes, it's one of the best projects. I mean, obviously, it needs. I mean, it didn't have the budget. I don't think that the current Marvel TV shows have. But I mean, I'm interested to see what they do. Does anybody even care about Echo? Like, I mean, did anybody think that she was a good character at all, or?
She was interesting, but like I wasn't like I don't know. I guess I wasn't expecting a spin-off series for her. If anything,
no one
you would
was.
expect something for Kate, if at the very least. But
what do you mean? She has her TV show. It's called Hawkeye.
Oh, you're right. I'm so sorry. Well, maybe we'll get a spin-off about Hawkeye. I'd love to know more about that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Kate eventually takes the name of Hawkeye. Like they share the name, so it would still make sense.
Yeah, all it is just a point, like other Marvel shows, is just to introduce new characters or to hand off the torch, like supposedly She-Hulk is going to be.
And I mean, that's honestly been the biggest part about Phase 4 is that, like, I don't mind you introducing new characters, but like you have to tell me a good story while you're doing it. And I feel like a lot of their properties just did it. There were a couple that did. There were a couple that did good jobs. I loved Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi and Eternals were, in my opinion, super good.
I thought Eternals was really good, but it would have been better from being longer. And the only way to do that probably would have been to make it a series, or like either make a prequel series and then make the movie. Because like I felt like it took place over such a long time period, it would have been nicer to have more time with the characters. But I liked Eternals too.
Let me tell you the only reason I didn't like. I'll tell you the only reason I didn't like Shang-Chi. Awkwafina.
I like Awkwafina.
I know,
no, dude.
A lot of people didn't like her.
She's not fucking funny, dude. Stop trying to.
I don't find her funny in her own show, but I find her funny in other people's work.
Stop trying to pretend like Awkwafina is funny. She's not, dude.
So I guess for me, I had never seen her in anything prior, so for me, she was just like a dorky side character, and I liked her. But I have heard that a lot of people don't like her in general as an actress for comedy.
Well, as soon as crazy stupid, crazy whatever Asians, crazy rich Asians.
As soon as Wong appeared at the end of the movie, and he's like, Shang-Chi, we need you, and Awkwafina, I was like, fuck. I was like, no.
I wanted to say something earlier, but I didn't know if it would sound so like too far-fetched. So you know, at the ending, like the post-credit with in Shang-Chi, where Wong shows up and he pulls him in the portal.
Yeah.
And they had the hologram of Hulk, and his arm is in a sling, but it's Bruce actually. Bruce with his arm in a sling, and then Captain Marvel, and they're talking about some things like pulsing or whatever, like giving off like some kind of signal.
Oh,
like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So I started to think, what if that's the other bracelet, and that's how Captain Marvel ends up in Miss Marvel's room?
I honestly thought the same thing. I thought that somehow the bracelet was related to Shang-Chi's like bracelets that they have in that show. I mean, knowing Marvel, they're not even going to touch upon that again. Like,
yeah, I don't think they're related just because the powers seem different. But I mean, anything's possible at this point.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they said that the rings, or the 10 rings, were alien technology, or they referred to it as alien technology, I think. I mean, I could be wrong about that.
They might just be pulling him in because he has some sort of like experience with magical jewelry. So
I mean, I think it's just like that one, kung fu fight against his dad. He's like, oh, well, I guess he's a professional,
Yeah, he knows everything.
I mean, he did save the world, for what it's worth. He gets some points for that.
Not many people knew about it, but he did.
I mean, it seems like everyone's saving the world nowadays.
Okay, so that is also one thing that I'm excited to see. Like, when and how are they going to bring up the fact that there's literally a giant stone, like, celestial coming out of the earth now?
No one's going to bring that up.
You know what I mean? Like,
it never happened.
That didn't happen. What are you talking about? It's fake news.
It-
Yeah, no, I don't know. That one's weird. Yeah, I agree. Like that should have thrown off the entire planet's gravity. So I'm like, the fact
That
that it
should have done so much more than it did.
hasn't brought up yet. Like tsunamis everywhere. Like I
Mhm.
don't know why that hasn't been brought up yet. But whatever. That's the weird thing about these phases is like you're never sure where shit takes place
Yeah,
in the
like, what's
timeline.
the timeline?
Yeah,
But
I would say so.
yeah.
So how do you guys wanna wrap this up, August? What do you wanna talk about?
Okay, so last couple things. Obviously, we have the 2 trailers that dropped, and then we'll talk quickly about the Phase 5 news.
Mhm.
But Black Panther trailer dropped, She-Hulk trailer dropped, Quantum Mania teaser got leaked, and it's probably been put down now.
I'm gonna try to find it.
But I mean, what did you think? Did you guys get a chance to watch the trailers? Like, what's your opinions?
I
Black Panther,
did.
She-Hulk. Yeah.
I did. Obviously, I'm interested to see what She-Hulk does with Daredevil, and that's like the first thing I got excited about. And I want to see the relationship between She-Hulk and obviously Hulk, because I think that that's actually going to be a really great and funny thing. I just think that they're going to have great chemistry.
Yeah.
And I mean, really panning to the simp culture there. But
Dude.
there's gonna be so many memes about that. And then I think
Dude, she looked like she was about to tear that pussy up. I'm just
that
saying.
pussy, yeah, for real. He's gonna break it.
August was telling me he's into that dommy mommy shit, so
Dude,
he's
Oh,
like,
no.
I'm into everything, bro. I told you, I'm into everything. No
I mean, I
fetish.
do agree. I think even
Goes
from the
on
trailer,
Instagram.
you can see that their banter is gonna be really enjoyable.
Yeah, the
They know
fourth
their
wall
audience.
breaking stuff. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was that meme, right? Like
Yeah.
the meme of her carrying the guys, like they
That's
know their
carrying off
audience.
the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that whole movie
They
looks
know
like
what
it's
they're
gonna be
doing.
hilarious. Yeah, like the scene where like he pushes her off the cliff and like she's flipping him off. Like I think
Yeah.
it might be the one of the like after it comes out. And it's even getting an extended episode count. Like it's gonna be longer than 6. So
Mhm.
like I clearly they have faith in it. So like it
Mhm.
might be the best TV series when it comes out. We'll have
Like,
to see.
if
Like,
we can all get over, like, the crappy CGI on her everything, I think it'll be really enjoyable, probably pretty funny.
Um, and then I thought Black Panther obviously was looked very emotional and like had a
Mhm.
very emotional trailer, and they're obviously not shying away from the fact that Chadwick Boseman passed away. They showed Namor, which is pretty cool, and I'm interested to see how they tie that in. Obviously, it kind of seemed like Namor was part Wakandan somehow.
how about that? But he looks so the weird thing to me in that trailer is that if you look closely, all of the Atlanteans are blue. He is not. So it's like, are they like A are stealing from Avatar? B, why are the other Atlanteans blue? And C, like,
Well,
is it gonna be like weird with him being like normal human colors and they're being blue?
he's
There's
part
so much there's so
human.
much to go into that. Yeah.
He's also they also gave him some like interesting Aztec design for his which is strange.
All of Atlantean culture, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it looked pretty cool. I mean, it was like a very emotional, very sad trailer. I'm interested to see now. See, the real speculation of that movie is who's gonna become Black Panther now.
Panther.
And I mean, I'm also interested to see how they say, like they're like, oh well, how did Black Panther die?
Yeah.
I don't know how. Like, I just could be like, well, he got cancer, stage 4, and then I don't know. Maybe I'm interested. It looks like it's going to largely play. The beginning is probably going to play around that.
Yeah, like that scene where they're all wearing white is probably a funeral, and they're just using the color contrast there. Obviously, it looked cool. I hope that's what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, no, I heard a bunch of kind of cool theories on how they're going to handle his death. Of course, it's terribly sad that he died. The fact that they're not recasting him, I mean, I get it, just for wanting to honor
Yeah.
Chadwick, but at the same time, like losing the central character of your series is pretty big. So I mean,
I
they're
don't
working
think
around it.
the
It's gonna be
fans would
nuts.
handle it well if they recasted him. Like, I don't think anyone would be happy about it.
Yeah,
I just don't. I think people would be mad. So whatever route they're taking, as long as it's not recasting, I think it'll hopefully be good. I'm sure they'll, honor his character and
oh,
the
absolutely,
actor.
absolutely. But I mean, it's weird. I don't. This is so rarely happens in big media
Hmm.
that like you kind of have to be like, I don't know what they're gonna do. I have hopes for it. But yeah, like I've heard some theories that, or not theories, but I've heard like speculation on how they handle his death. Like it would be kind of neat if it were like an assassination attempt from like Doom. That way you could set Doom up for as a big lad later. I've heard that like if they just give him cancer, that would be like a kind of a cool thing too, because it's like yeah we're heroes, but we can't fix everything.
Yeah.
I mean we kind of did just get that from Thor 4. But
Yeah, maybe they
still.
might avoid. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm very interested to see how they handle it. I'm super interested to see who comes on as the next Black Panther, because I know there's some behind the scenes drama with Letitia Wright, the actress who plays Shuri in Marvel, and like either she wants out of her contract or she's had some disputes with them over the whole COVID thing. So yeah, I mean, this movie has so much crazy controversy around it in terms of background stuff that I'm really interested to see it. But that trailer looked lit. The cinematography looked
Mhm.
amazing. I'm
Yeah.
super excited for it. So, yeah, I mean, with that, we talked about She-Hulk. We talked about Black Panther. I don't think anyone said anything about Werewolf by Night, which I'm sure that's
That's it.
the
What it?
movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's
Yeah, no one's talked about it. Yeah. Okay, so that's coming out this year, supposedly. That's coming out in October, and no one's talked about it.
Is it a TV
Uh,
show?
it's going to be, I think, their version of a movie. So instead of a show, it's just going to be like one long, like 60 to 90-minute thing. It's going to be like a special, they're calling it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, essentially, I think that's how they're going to use to set up this the supernatural aspect of the Marvel universe. But we don't even have a trailer for that yet, so I'll be really interested to see what they say about that because it's coming out in like 2 months, and like I haven't even seen anything about it. We don't have a logo. Um, but and it's already been filmed, so it has to come out at some point in the near future. Like, but
I don't know if it's me or not, but it seemed like they pushed back a lot of the Phase 4 stuff to Phase 5. Like they're like, oh, this is Phase 4 now, and this is Phase 5. But before they were like, they showed Phase 4, and it was just everything. Um, it really feels like everything I want to see is so far away. Like I want to see what they do with Blade. I want to see what they do with the. I want to watch the Fantastic Four, and I don't want to wait 2 years for it.
Yeah.
And
like let
wasn't
me
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 supposed to be this phase, and now it's on to phase 5? Is that
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. I think
Yeah.
they said they gave a defining end to the Phase 5 type
Yeah.
stuff. I think this is probably gonna be like this is probably considered like the Phase 1 of things where they're just really world building and sort of introducing characters. But
And I think that's why people aren't liking it is because they're not used to like a complete deconstruction phase again, where like
Yeah.
we're just setting up
Yeah.
stuff for later.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do think the movies have gotten a little stale and could be better.
yeah,
So I think it's those two things. But yeah, I mean, Phase 4 ends at Wakanda Forever.
Mhm.
And if you want to see the announcement list, Phase 5 was just fully announced. It starts with Quantum Mania, Ant-Man and the Wasp in February. Spring has Secret Invasion. May has Guardians of the Galaxy. Summer
Still
has
too far away.
Echo. I mean, it's next year, but yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Loki season 2 is next year. The Marvels is next year. Blade is next year. Ironheart is next year. Daredevil is next year. Agatha, Coven of Chaos, which
Who
I actually
asked-
kind of liked. Yeah, R.I.P. House of Harkness because I kind of liked that title better.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize they changed the name of it.
And then Captain America: New World Order, which sounds ominous.
That's a
but yeah,
terrible name.
That sounds
the end of
intense.
it's the end of the phase.
Who the hell asked for the Agatha TV show? I don't
I
think.
don't know, dude. I
That's
think
that's
they
some,
see that people enjoy a character, and then they're like, "Well, then we should
Yeah.
make a show about him."
yeah, that's definitely some data-driven shit where they're like, well, we got this big bump when Agatha showed up, so we're gonna do more. And I'm like, do we need more?
More
Really? I don't think
musical
so.
scenes.
But yeah. I mean, Agatha all along was a banger, but I don't need a show. You know.
Anyway, so with that,
But yeah, I mean, I'm just excited. Like it's one of those things where like I think we've honestly hit the middle point of the Marvel universe because like if they keep doing stuff the same way they're doing, it's sad to say, but I don't think another 10, 15 years people are going to want to watch superhero movies. Like
no.
unless they really start innovating, I think we've hit the point where stuff is starting to get a little bit stale and they have to be a little bit more creative. And I'll be interested to see if they can do that. But yeah, I mean, I'm still excited for what comes next. It's just I hope that like the formula doesn't become too much of a formula at this point. Because
Right.
like I feel like that was the biggest flaw with this phase, is that the formula did become a formula. But
Uh,
anything can happen. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for the New Mutant stuff. I would love Giancarlo Esposito as Professor X. That's the buzz about that.
mhm.
And maybe like Denzel as Magneto, which it would also be interesting. Although I'm sure it'll ruffle some jimmies. But yeah, I'm just excited. Whatever happens next, I'm probably gonna watch it, even if it's good, even if it's bad.
Yo, Boobagel.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Same thing. Boobagel.
Your handle's Boobagel. All right, cool.
Everywhere.
Well, when's the next time you're streaming?
Let's see, what time is it? I might stream maybe after I get my stuff set back up. But if not, I'll probably be streaming tomorrow around 1:30.
All right. Yo, August, where can people find you, man?
Same back time, same back channel in the Backlog podcast. I'll probably do some of my own stuff eventually, but right now, too busy, too lazy, a little bit of both. But honestly, I love farming news for the podcast. That's what I enjoy for right now. So I'll be here.
And you can find the backlog on obviously Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. We're on Twitter. I believe you can find the Backlog podcast, of course, anywhere you listen to podcasts. And with that, guys, that has been the Backlog podcast number 25. We'll see you soon. Bye, y'all.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Nice having you on, Boo.